I don't know if he's been buried yet, but the situation is as follows. I didn't know who this guy was. You know why? If you know who this guy was, you're wasting your fucking time. Okay? Get your head out of your fucking ass. If you knew who this guy was, you got your head in your ass. Trust me, folks. Let me give you a little quick story here to tell you why I'm talking about this guy, and I'm going to expose this guy. It took me all of 5 minutes to realize this guy's a fraud, by the way. All of 5 minutes, if that. And I'm going to show you why. I got a call a couple days ago from a friend, a foreign guy. And so he's asked me about this guy. I'd heard something about some shooting. I was watched the TV, some Charlie Kirk, and they're talking about, I don't know who it is. I'm thinking, is this a politician? I don't know. Don't paying attention to it. And the guy's asking me about it. My friend is calling me a couple days after that, calling me and asking me, he's heard all these things. He wants to know what my whole take, because he knows I've told him the whole shebang about what the fuck is going on. Now, he's not particularly educated or astute, but he's starting to realize who the fuck I am in terms of my credibility. At some point, I'll kind of maybe show him some things, but so I saw some more things on this guy, and I noticed he's on Donald Trump had a speech about this guy, and everybody was talking about him. All the politicians, and they were all so sorry he died. He was getting all this news coverage every fucking day. And I'm thinking, who is this guy? Is he a big politician? And then I realized he's some fucking kid. And then I already know right then what's going on. I mean, I already know. I'm not for sure, but I'm already thinking, okay, so the world is acting like this guy is some big political leader. That's pretty bizarre. He's some fucking kid. That tells you right there there's something a little strange going on, right? So I looked at his. I did a little search, and I didn't even realize he had a scam tube channel. Apparently, he's got all these social media and all this stuff, and so, I heard a little rundown. Oh, he started this non-profit at age 18. Red flag. Red flag. He's a plant. In case you guys didn't know that, he's a plant. Okay, obvious. And apparently, he's a lot of people know about him. A lot of people follow him. He's a big. Folks, rule number one, anyone who's getting exposure ain't on your side. It's pretty fucking obvious. Now, I'm going to go further than that, and I was even surprised to realize I believe he's probably a Mossad asset. Now, I think what's going on now, and I have really not looked into this much, but I was looking for a picture, this picture, and apparently people are saying, well, he was killed by Mossad because he said that Epstein was a Mossad asset. This is how stupid people are. Everybody knows that Epstein was probably a Mossad asset. It's pretty obvious if you know the facts behind the case with Epstein. It's pretty obvious he was blackmailing important people for Mossad, for more control over all these countries. Why do you think all these leaders bow down to Netanyahu? That's one reason. The other reason is all the money flooding into Israel from the West, from dual citizens who channel that money through AIPAC back into America, as well as the money going directly to the lobbyist groups, right? So everybody was already, it's nothing new that he was likely, Epstein, likely a Mossad asset. But all these idiots out there, they want to, conspiracy, yeah, this is why he was killed because of this. No, he was probably shot because some guy, some left-wing fucking crackpot, didn't like that he was influencing people on the opposite side of the one-party system. America's democracy. That's probably the situation. Okay. So you say, well, gosh, how can he be a Mossad asset when he came out and accused Epstein of being working for Mossad, of being a Mossad asset? Well, I'm not here to claim that he knew he was working for Mossad. He probably didn't know he was working for Mossad. Okay? I believe he had handlers come in, and I'm going to show you some evidence of that here in my 5 to 10 minute research that I've done. That's all I needed. I mean, folks, I've been doing this shit for 20 fucking years. I can spot this shit instantly. It's obvious. You put everything together, and it's obvious. Number one, some kid at 18 forms a nonprofit. Who the fuck in their right mind at 18 years old knows what a nonprofit is? Think about that. Okay? First and foremost. Okay? He forgoes college to do all this nonsense. Who's funding him? What's going on? You understand. Obviously, he was funded from the start by certain people. Okay? And he got wrapped into this commercialization of this whole MAGA stuff. And I don't even know exactly all the things, he pushed for, but apparently all the MAGA stuff and the Christianity stuff and the white stuff and the, racial stuff he pushed for. I don't know exactly the details, okay? I don't need to. Don't need to. I'm going to show you here because I think later on, I think, I don't know how many years into it, but think about it for a second. Think about Trump. Trump tells you himself there's been no president ever that's been more pro-Israel than Trump, right? And this is why you don't hear anything from Trump about all the invasions Israel is doing all around the fucking world now, right? It's all about Russia-Ukraine, but you don't hear anything about Israel massacring innocent fucking people. Oh, there was a terrorist over there. We had to get them. You don't hear anything about that now, do you? The media covers it, but they don't cover it as much as they should or could. They have to cover it. Because why? Well, because outside of the U.S., other media is going to be a little less biased. They'll be biased, but not as much as in the U.S. So they're going to have to cover it. They're not covering it as much as they should, right? Now, I talked before a while back about that gang that got together. The billionaire gang guys, the dual citizen guys, Bill Ackman and Michael Dell and so on and so forth. There was a story written about this. Check it out in the media. They had their, Instagram group or something like that. They had their little private group, and they were scheming on how they could work together to stop protests on college campuses. Now, think about that for a second. Think about that. You don't think there's a fucking big-time control going on over the U.S.? Get the fuck out of here. Wake the fuck up. I could go off all day about that. Nobody talks about that. Nobody has the facts like I do, and nobody's going to speak like I do. Why do you think I was shut down from day fucking one? Everyone else out there that you think, oh, well, Candace Owens. Oh, really? Well, she was working for Ben Shapiro and that little Mossad operation for a long fucking time. All of a sudden she starts yapping, and then she goes off on her own. You think that she's legit? No, she's not legit. If you're legit, you get smacked down one way or another. You get taken out or you get banned from the beginning. That's what happens. That's how it works. So we're going to go through this a little bit here. I'm going to show you some videos. And this guy was a profiteer. He was an absolute profiteer. Folks, if you are some type of a so-called patriot, some type of a spiritual, moral leader, some type of a whatever people said he was, why in the fuck was it a commercial enterprise for him? Why was it such a commercial enterprise for him? I mean, I haven't even looked into it, but the very first thing I saw when I looked at some videos, I saw a goddamn commercial. His very first YouTube. He's actually, I'm not talking about YouTube ads. I'm talking about his own little commercial that he's putting out for religious things, for asset management. Probably he does a thing for the NRA as well. What the fuck's going on? What is that? Folks, anytime you see someone out there who claims to be this leader, this and that, and there's money involved, they're putting all ton of, you can forget about it. They're already bought off. They're already in the fucking pocketbooks, which is probably why, and I'd say he probably got taken over. I haven't looked into him, but it's been several years. He's a big supporter of Israel, of what they're doing in Palestine and everywhere else, the genocide. Think about that. I mean, that's kind of Team Trump, is it not? Right. First and foremost, I don't give a fuck about Israel. I don't care. They do nothing for America. Most Jewish Americans, I don't think, really care about Israel. They certainly don't agree with a lot of the things that's going on there. I don't think they really care that much. But you've got a group of people with a lot of money that certainly do. Israel and what's going on is putting America and American lives in harm's way. Because I can tell you right now, you had that terrorist operation or the shooting in Jerusalem last week or so at the bus stop. You're going to see something in America, unfortunately, because you're going to see a backlash, because America is supplying Israel with massive amounts of money, massive amounts of military weaponry to commit this genocide. So, you kind of have to expect some type of backlash at some point. Unfortunately, I certainly don't want to hear about any people at any bus stops getting killed, by the terrorists. That's fucking ridiculous. But on the other hand, look at what they've been doing, what the Israeli military has been doing in Palestine. So think about this for a second. It's the big picture, right? Don't let this guy get a pass because he talks about, the white and religious and borders closed and trans should, don't let that cloud your judgment. Okay? This is a bigger issue here when you're talking about America's support for a country that's a rogue country, not even a legitimate country. It's rogue, and they've been committing atrocities in the Middle East for decades while stealing more and more of the Palestinian land. And Netanyahu knows he can do whatever the fuck he wants. He knows, okay? Listen, folks, there's a certain arrogance that's gradually increased over the years. You can see it in America. You can see it in Congress as well. You can see it because the control has been overwhelming, stronger and stronger year after year. Now there's a certain arrogance out there. So, that's reflected with Netanyahu and Israel. They do whatever they want. And, look, I'm quite positive there are Israelis who are against all this shit. Right? I'm sure there's a lot of them that are. So this is really against the government of Israel. Just like, people who don't like what America does, I think that they realize many Americans do not support the U.S. government. So let me go ahead now and show you some of this evidence here. You can decide for yourself, but myself, someone who is, I think, a world authority spotting scammers and deception and fraud, and I understand what's going on. It's pretty obvious to me that Mr. Kirk was working, whether he knew it or not. I don't think he probably didn't know it. He probably didn't. Who knows, though? I think he realized he was getting close to those elements. I mean, he did a recent interview with Ben Shapiro, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that, and you're going to see. I'm going to tell you right now, if you watch that interview without me telling you, you're not going to get it. You're not going to fucking know. I know, folks. What I've been telling people for a long time. When you listen to an interview, especially something controversial, the questions or the person, it needs to be a real fucking interview, not a promotional piece. You understand? They have to ask them hard-hitting fucking questions. And this little interview with Shapiro, this guy basically gave him the open platform to push Israel's agenda, platform to push his little stupid book. He was kissing his ass big time. I'm going to show you here in a second. So first,
the breaking news of this new footage we have of the stabbing murder of the...
So this, before we get into that, let me just, something I ran across here. So listen to this. This is kind of shocking to me.
The breaking news of this new footage we have of the stabbing murder of the 23-year-old Ukrainian refugee Irina Zarutska, a young white lady who was stabbed to death by a black criminal, by a complete stranger on a train in Charlotte. Now, you might have not seen this footage yet. This is becoming national news, and the left...
So, I mean, I thought this guy was like a sensible guy. He wasn't radical, but so he wants to throw in the whole race thing, which, look, it should be... Look, folks, this is what I'm talking about. We all know, there's no doubt, when you look at the statistics, okay, you look at the statistics, this is old news, that you've got a very high percentage of black on white crime. You don't see the opposite. A very high percentage of black on black crime. You don't, so I mean, why is he distracting with this? Why is he focusing on this? You understand? If this were 15 years ago, 20 years ago, okay. But why is he doing that now? You understand? It's a distraction. It's a distraction. It's a race bait. It's a way to get the people to, get them riled up to focus on, we've got these too much black crime and what's going, right? It's fucking nonsense. It's bullshit. That's what he's doing. Okay? And I'd say at this point, his operation's so commercial, he's being fed a lot of things. He's being fed a lot of things, I would say, to some extent. I would say, but anyway, let's take a look now here at this. So here we go. Charlie Kirk versus the Washington State woke mob. Okay.
Why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? I mean, look around. Most people feel stuck, overwhelmed, and exhausted, trying to fight a battle they can't seem to win. And if you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. I used to feel that way too. Do what I did and called PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition 2 years ago. I lost 40 pounds. Look, it doesn't even fit anymore. I feel great and I haven't gained a pound back.
There you go. You hear that? I mean, the guy is doing weight loss commercials now. You see that? We're talking, this is the very first thing that comes on the video. And many of his videos are this way. Go through and you can take a look for yourself. This tells me right now, this guy is bought off. He's in it for the money. He's going to take any money he can fucking get. Why? Why does he need that money? Why? Let's take a look here. Charlie Kirk sends Van Jones into a mental breakdown. Yeah, okay.
TikTok has helped U.S. businesses generate over $24 billion for the U.S. economy. That's real money flowing into small businesses, like Bluff Cakes, who started as a home baking side hustle and became a national...
So now he's advertising for TikTok. I mean, is this from orders from Donald Trump? You know, Donald Trump, the guy who, in his first term, initially flagged TikTok as a national security threat back in, I'd say, 2017, 2018. Remember that? Biden administration, Biden ramped it up. They're ready to ban TikTok. And then what happens? Well, TikTok pays Trump at least $1 million. I think there was more. They buy him off like all these other. I mean, this is what I say about Trump. Trump is a fucking piece of shit. He's a goddamn gangster. He's a criminal. He's a scumbag. And now Trump is all pro TikTok, just like this guy. Folks, let me explain something to you. Not only is TikTok a propaganda machine for the CCP, potentially, but it's also potentially a spy machine, as are any electronic devices that come out of China, or including in this case, digital, whereby you're going to be installing apps. You install an app, you don't think that's a fucking spy machine. How do you think they spy on the people in China? I've known this for 10 years. How do you think all the social credit scores, much of that is being generated? It's through WeChat, through the WeChat app. Okay. There's been reports, by the way, because a lot of the electronics, folks. I wrote about this 20 years ago. I wrote about this, America signing a deal with the fucking devil, about the national security threat that China posed to the U.S. with all this trade, with this free trade scam, with the hollowing out of our industrial base, of the destruction of the middle class. Nobody else in the world wrote all this stuff. In addition to all the other things, predicted the financial crisis. Under one book, nobody did this. This is why I was banned. I exposed too much. Too much. But if my name had been something different, you better damn well believe I would have gotten some coverage. Okay? And so think about it. You've got a world authority, myself, not just in one area. I'm an authority in several areas. Right? I'm clearly a very well-informed and insightful person. And I continue to keep my on top of things as a professional investment research analyst. And think about it. I have no voice. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Nobody wants, you understand, keep this guy out of the picture so they can use guys like Kirk and all these other idiots, Tucker Carlson and all these other bullshit artists, you understand. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're completely dumbing down the people so that people don't know the real issues. Folks, do you think that you think this is new? This has been going on for me for 20 years. I was trying to get the word out for 20 fucking years. Okay? That's why I take offense at all these. I told my buddy that called me, I was like, listen, don't bother me with these fucking nobodies, man. You pay attention to this. This is a waste of time. I already knew the deal. I didn't even look at the guy, and I already knew. I knew this guy's just he's a Jordan Peterson Jr. is what he is, basically. A mini Jordan Peterson. And the people are so stupid that they're fooled by him. You see, this is the problem. Folks, this is what you can do when you blackball a person like me. Because if you don't know enough of what's going on, you're going to be fooled by these people. It's very easy to be fooled by these people. Let's take another look at a video here. Another video. You can see the very beginning here. Gay man saved by Christ. So, he's one of these religious zealots. He toes the whole Christianity line because he knows that the religious zealot wackos, psychopaths, who, he's a man of he's a holy man. They're going to just suck in anything he says. I've told you all before, any person who mixes religion with finance, investments is always a fraud. They're a scammer. Always. Always. Any person who mixes religion, who pushes that religion thing, I'm a man of faith, talk, you know what I'm saying? He tries to recruit this whole message of religion. If they mix that with anything else, their business, whatever, they're a fraud. It's that simple. That's what I've noticed throughout my life. It's pretty much common sense. So let's listen to this video, what he has to say about the gay man being saved by Christ.
Folks, we're in a spiritual battle. Right now, all across the globe, our Christian brothers and sisters are being targeted because they stand firm in their faith in Jesus Christ. God's word calls us to remember them. We've got to stand with those heroes of the faith. In the powerful book, When Faith is Forbidden, Todd Nettleton and the Voice of the Martyrs bring you 40 gripping...
You see? So he's being paid off to promote some book, right? And it's going to be some charitable organization, some, I mean, I'm wondering why, by the way. I mean, all these people are of color. I guess, I mean, is he claiming that Christianity is not suppressed in China, right? In other countries? Anyway, the guy's such a fucking fake and fraud and commercial. Is he profiteering? I think he's a profiteering piece of shit. Let's listen to what he has to say here about... Yeah, he crushes the woke lies of Michigan State. Okay.
If you love America and believe in the values that made it great, join AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Yeah. AMAC is the conservative alternative to AARP, and it's not just for seniors, it's for anyone who believes in faith, family, and freedom.
You heard it, folks, you see it. Freedom. Freedom. Anybody promoting freedom is a fraud. Freedom. What is freedom? What does it mean? Well, fucking fraud. So AMAC, so it's the conservative alternative to the AARP. Oh yeah, the AARP that I exposed like 15 years ago. A total fucking scam organization that, by the way, allows itself to be bought off by Jim Cramer. TheStreet.com promotes itself on there. That's right. Getting seniors patched into penny stocks. That's right. So he's pitching what's probably a fucking scammy organization, a boiler room organization, to lure seniors in to get them into shady products, shady services. That's what these organizations do. You know that, right? AARP. You know that, right? You all know. It's fact. Write it down. So he's shilling for these people. It's all about the money. Money, 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 money. Okay, so let's take a look at this here. So, okay, you got the picture of this whiny, annoying airhead weasel, Ben Shapiro. By the way, if that sounds familiar, you could kind of put the tone up a little bit. You got his 20, 30 years his senior, Sean Hannity, kind of the same little, way that they talk. If you didn't know Sean Hannity's background, well, I'm telling you right now. Now you know. Which is why he's the big mouthpiece has been for a long time. Right? He's the neocon mouthpiece. He's the guy that tells you, support Israel, be a patriot, support the Iraq war, or you're not a patriot. Support the murdering of over 1 million innocent Iraqis. Yeah, okay. Sounds great. Sean, you dirty piece of fucking trash. Of course, you got Ben Shapiro. I don't even follow these fucking weasels. It's a waste of fucking my time. I happen to have come across a few things, and I came across this about a year ago, maybe not a year ago. What was it? Maybe, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. Ben Shapiro apparently he wanted to. He made a false. He posted fake pictures on his Twitter of burnt babies, claiming that they were Israeli babies that the Palestinians had killed. Did you all see that? I mean, it was complete. It was outed as fake. So, and Ben Shapiro went on. He came out and was trying to plead with Americans. This is what they're doing in Israel. We need to invade them. Don't. I mean, can you? This is what we're talking about here. And of course, I mean, folks, it comes and goes. You understand? It's reported 1 minute, boom, it's gone. People don't remember. This is how the media operates. The media operates by emphasizing things. Okay? They emphasize things. They run the same stories. They follow up over and over again. That's what their narrative is. They can report something Boom, just one time. That's it. Doesn't matter. It's what they focus on. That's what their real agenda is tied to. And people that have kind of a confirmation bias, they think, oh, no, well, the media, they talked about this. Yeah, because you were looking for it. You're focused on that. They talked about it one time. And I'm just being generic here. They didn't talk about Ben Shapiro's fraud. But I'm just saying this is how the media works. They focus on things over and over and over and over again. You see? So that they can always claim, no, we covered this. Yeah, you covered it one time. You didn't make it a center point, a feature that you covered day after day. You all understand. This is how the media operates, by the way. Okay. So let's listen to this now. We're going to listen to, and I want you all to, I've told you all about this exchange. This is supposed to, when you're thinking about this, this is unpredictable. And they show this little sinister look, right? He's looking to him as, this is clickbait. Oh, you're going to think like, okay, he's going to come down on Ben Shapiro. Hey, what's going on? They're going to give him the hard questions, right? And that's what I thought, not knowing anything about this Kirk guy, till I realized he's a fucking shill. He's a paid off shill for Israel.
Let your patriotic values guide how you...
There you go. Another one. Let's listen to this one.
Let your patriotic values guide how you invest your money and save for your future. With Monorail's Patriot Portfolio, your investment dollars get out of globalist corporations and into companies that support Christian and American values.
You hear this? Can you believe this horse shit? What a fucking scam. What a fucking scam artist. Is this Graham Stephan's cousin? Nah, he's probably too tall. I mean... I'm curious. I'm somebody look into this fucking scam company and see that the companies that are the values they're Did you hear what he said? So he's trying to lure the whole Christian bullshit. The whole let's listen to this again.
Let your patriotic values guide how you invest your money and save for your future. With Monorail's Patriot Portfolio, your investment dollars get out of globalist corporations and into companies that support Christian and American values.
So. He's linking patriotism to Christian values, by the way, which I think some people out there, I'm not an atheist, I don't think I am, but I think some atheists or maybe some Muslims in America or maybe some Jewish people, or they're going to be offended. Like, you see folks, you see what I'm talking about here? What he's saying? He's trying to lure people. This is why he has this whole Christian thing. Then he has the companies that come to him, and he's got that whole target audience. Somebody look into this fucking scam company and see if the companies that they're investing in are support patriot Christian American values. Okay? What a fucking load of shit. What a fucking piece. I mean, how could anybody trust a guy that pitches horse shit like this?
Let your patriotic values guide how you invest your money and save for your future. With Monorail's Patriot Portfolio, your investment dollars get out of globalist corporations and into companies that support Christian and American values.
Get out of globalist corporations. So in other words, it sounds like kind of some type of a scammy outfit to finance like potential boiler room fucking companies, little fucking shit shops, I don't know. Somebody look into it.
Monorail is perfect for anyone who wants to learn how to invest their money like a pro, or a conscious-minded investor that wants to put their money where their values are.
Oh, wait a second. How in the flying fuck do you know if this is perfect for people who want to invest like a pro? I'm a fucking pro. You're not. I'm a pro investor. You're a pro propagandist. Shut your fucking mouth, you lying piece of trash. I don't care that he's dead. I don't care. I think the guy's evil because he's a disingenuous, money-worshipping scumbag. Anyway, let's listen to this little interview
today
here.
At monorail.com.
Oh, shut up, dude.
That's monorail.com/Kirk.
Shut your fucking face. You money-worshipping piece of trash.
So we're on Team Civilization here. We want to...
I guess he can't spell his own name here. Crick.
see the maniacs of Hamas be defeated. So we've seen.
You hear that? So the maniacs of Hamas. He was, so understand the psychology. Okay, great, they're maniacs. But what would you call a military that goes in and massacres, not one time, it's been going on for a long time, innocent women and children? What would you call that? Anybody? Right? So you know where this is going already.
News this morning that quite honestly I'm a little confused by, and I was hoping you could navigate it and help us understand, which is that Israel bombed Qatar, which houses a lot of Hamas officials. What happened here? And if I were to introduce just a skeptical question, will this potentially endanger America's own interests in the Middle East? So please, Ben, help me better understand the situation.
Sure. So I think that the lead up to understand here is that Qatar sort of plays.
He has his little book there. You have to be a pathetic loser to, I'm going to put my book here. Like, that's basically e-begging. Ben Shapiro is now e-begging. This guy is such an airhead idiot. And of course, you all know he's a Mossad asset, right?
I know that it's impossible for anyone to listen to everything that you ever say, but looking at this from an American perspective, what else would you say things could have been handled differently? Maybe on the PR front, maybe also just on a conduct front. Where would you say, as an outsider, things that could have been handled better, more?
So clearly, you can see what's going on, folks. This is basically a portal for Ben Shapiro to flap his Mossad propaganda, to get Americans to support the atrocities that Israel's committing. And remember, U.S. tax dollars, American tax money is going to Israel for these atrocities. We have no fucking business sending money to any country, anywhere, for military activities. Anywhere, including Ukraine. That's a bunch of horse shit. Anyway, I'm not going to play all this bullshit. Let me let's play the ending here.
I was going to say, Ben, come on. You Jews own the media, Ben. So, I mean, come on.
Oh, listen to that.
As you could tell by...
So listen, did you hear that? That's interesting. I got lucky to push that. So notice the sarcasm, by the way, right? You see that? You see that?
Associated Press, which is where Ken and Glenn.
Folks, if I looked into this Kirk guy, I'm telling you, I could write a whole fucking laundry list of reasons why this guy's a fraud and a Mossad asset. I just spent no more than 10 minutes on this guy, to the point that I just now put on this little clip. I didn't even know it was on there, but let's listen to this again. Watch Kirk, his sarcasm.
With Hamas for years, or Reuters. These are wildly pro-Israel outlets, and yet when it comes to the reporting, it seems to be sort of the opposite.
Ben,
so the perception, the legacy media is like owned by the Jews. And
I was going to say, Ben, come on.
Israel.
You Jews own the media, Ben. So, I mean, come on. As you could tell by all the wonderful headlines you guys get.
Well, I mean, dude.
So, in other words, you see that? What more do you need proof that this guy is obviously a shill? This guy's fucking, he's a piece of trash. Total fucking piece of trash. He's no better than Ben Shapiro. And all you people out there that fell for this guy, you're dumb. You're stupid. You're a fucking idiot. You're dumb. Fix it. Fix your mental illness and your stupidity. Because you fell for Jordan Peterson, and you fell for Tucker Carlson, and you probably fell for Alex Jones. You're falling for all the idiots out there. And, of course, the problem is, if you don't have anybody out there with any exposure that's telling you the real fucking truth. So what do? Well, you just tune them all off. You tune them out. You don't listen to none of that shit. Okay? Like me, I don't pay attention to none of this shit.
Well, I mean, dude, the accusation that we own the media has not prevented, the Daily Wire from employing people who radically disagree with me on all of these matters. I mean, I don't agree with Matt Walsh on foreign policy. Matt, obviously, is a major host.
So, did you hear that, by the way? That's interesting.
I don't agree with Matt Walsh on foreign policy. Matt, obviously, from employing people who radically disagree with me on...
So, he's saying that this Daily Wire boiler room, which is funded by Mossad, I'm sure, some groups through Israel, there's no doubt about that. He's saying, well, we employ people who don't agree with us. Yeah, and he names this Matt Walsh fucking fraud. Oh, Matt Walsh? Yeah, but he's related to you, buddy. He's one of you guys. You see, the discourse is always under control of the same group. The full discourse of everything. You got it? Just like the monetary system and any alternatives to that, whether it's precious metals or cryptocurrencies, you don't got no option. You're not allowed. You understand what's going on, folks. You're not allowed at the fucking table. You're not allowed to mingle. We're talking about mafia control. But anyway, I mean, I'm not gonna, they want to be sarcasm about, oh well, it's all you got to do is go ahead and take a look. Take a look who runs all these companies. Okay, and while you're at it, take a look who runs all the professional sports teams. Take a look at the percentages. Okay? And I already explained why. Well, why do you think that is? Because how do you think these professional teams make all their money now? It's through media deals. Anyway. So, if that wasn't enough, let's go ahead here and so the whole thing is basically just letting Ben Shapiro speak his bullshit and this whole pro-Israel, pro-genocide nonsense, right? And then you've got this piece of trash, Kirk, who actually comes out with the whole sarcasm to make it, I mean, it's unbelievable. And so, let's listen now.
Obviously, you should be America first, but if you're pro-Hamas, you're something darker, and we shouldn't put up with that. Ben, tell us about your important new book.
So the basic idea in Lions and Scavengers is that inside every human heart.
Let me tell you something, Dan Ventures. I think Jesus loves what I'm doing. I'm waking people up. You don't tell me I need Jesus. You need to shut your fucking mouth. There ain't nobody that's done what I've done. Nobody has tried to help people like me. Okay, I need Jesus. Let me tell you something. People like you are part of the problem, Dan Ventures, because you're religious fucking zealots. Let me explain something to you, chump. Anybody that grows up in the United States of America who's religious is one of two people. They're either fucking crackpots or they're getting ready to die. Getting ready to die, okay, you can be religious because you're going to get buried. You need to have that hope. Religion was not created by God. That's a man-made creation. Religion was created by a bunch of fucking charlatans to control people and to scam them. If you believe in Jesus, why do you need a religion? Why can't you worship Jesus on your own? Why do you need to give money to a church? You understand? Religion's become a huge scam in America. It's a complete disgusting disgrace. It's sacrilegious. And I'm sure God doesn't like what's going on with religion. Certainly in America. It's disgusting. You got it? You got it? Any questions about religion? I think it's disgusting. Religion is disgusting in America. It's a disgusting example of capitalism out of control. You've got preachers in America making fortunes. And I've told people this before. I said one of the best things, you want to go into a great career, become a preacher. Okay, you're going to make a fucking fortune. You're going to make a fortune. Let me tell you something right now. The way I see it, I've never picked up a Bible in my life. You know why? I don't know. I'm kind of confused. There's so many fucking versions. It kind of seems like it's kind of a flakery bullshit to me. There's so many versions, this and that, and interpretations. What the hell's going on? You got it? But let me tell you something right now. I know one thing's for sure. As detached as I may seem from religion, I know one thing. I have virtue and morality enough to know that if I'm a preacher, if I'm a so-called man of the faith, or whatever they call these people, a messenger of God in my church, I'm going to make sure I'm the lowest paid person of that church. You understand? I'm going to be the lowest paid as the preacher, minister, or priest. I'm going to be the lowest paid person. I'm going to have the lowest income of anybody at that church, instead of, in many cases, the highest. That's what you see in America. You see these guys making fortunes because they shouldn't be about money, but they are, aren't they? They're all about the fucking money. Okay? They're all about the money. So when people say, oh, you need Jesus. No, I don't need Jesus. You don't know nothing about me. You stupid, ignorant motherfucker. I've sacrificed my life for the people. You don't know that? You don't know shit about me. You don't know what I've fucking done. There ain't nobody that's done what I've done and been cast aside and shit on like me and sacrificed like me. Not any time in the past couple of decades anyway. Nobody. I know that for a fact. And guess what? Nobody knows that. And you know why? Well, that kind of explains that I've done that. People don't know that. Why do you think it's happened? Because I'm a force out there that can wake people up and educate them to know what the fuck is going on, to make them realize their system is a joke. Their system is a complete fraud. There is no democracy in America. There is no voting. There is no U.S. government. It's all a big fucking fraud. I wrote about all this shit. I don't need to sound intellectual, because I am intellectual. I don't need to fucking fake it. And I don't need to pretend. I don't need to try and win friends. I know what the fuck I've done in my life. And I'm fed up with all the bullshit and all the idiots out there. And the people who see nothing but, oh, Jesus, oh, God. And they don't see anything else. They don't see this con man, Charlie Kirk, pitching religion, right? They don't see him pitching it for money. All they see is, oh, he's a man of faith. He supports Christianity. And they don't see all the fucking grifting and all the scams and all the other bullshit. How can a person, by the way, I don't know, I'm ignorant about how this formal religion stuff works. How in the fuck can a person, if you're religious, I don't understand how you can be for open guns. How can you support people having guns? Especially when you look at the statistics. It's insanity. It's insanity for the public to have access to guns. Complete fucking insanity. Maybe it was okay 60 years ago, 70 years ago, before America's society collapsed and you had all these socioeconomic problems, all the drugs, all the jobs being outsourced, when you didn't have the racial issues, when you didn't have to lock your fucking door. But today, you can't do it. So, it seems to me that a reasonable person would be against guns, would be for gun control in America. Folks, I've been against guns for, as old as I felt competent to make a decision on that. So it's probably been, 25, 30 years. I've always been for gun control. If you are in America and you're not for gun control, then you're brainwashed. America is no longer capable. They'll say, well, it's not the guns that kills the people, it's the people. We don't have a system in place to vet people. It's that simple. Oh, well, I want my guns to protect against the government. Oh, really? Really? You think so? How is it possible that all these Americans out there sat by and continue to sit by year after year, decade after decade, and watch millions upon millions of their fucking good jobs with pensions, which includes health care coverage, go overseas and their health care to be run by Wall Street to bankrupt them, and to have America so much in debt because of all these wars and all this military aid. All these things that have happened, and Americans haven't used their guns. That's a little bit strange to me. Meanwhile, in countries where they don't have open access to guns, when they raise utility prices, when they raise bus prices, people go on the streets and they fucking riot. Okay? Having guns makes Americans passive, makes them feel like they ultimately have control. And at the end of the day, the only thing we see from having no gun control, essentially, is a violent country with kids being shot, it seems like every fucking week. Innocent kids being shot by psychopaths. Sorry, America needs strict gun control. That's not communism. That's not socialism. That's just common sense. Look at the statistics. Look at the countries that have gun control, and look at the rates of crime. Very low. Violent crime, homicide, very low. Take a look at the countries that don't have gun control, and you're going to see very high rates of gun-related homicide. Not to mention, by the way, the homicides that occur through accident, self-injury. Okay, so I'm talking about this guns because this guy, of course, he was a pro-gun guy. Okay, let's take a look. By the way, let's see what we've got here. Yeah, let's take a look. Speaking of that.
Never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it.
Worth it?
I think it's worth to have a cost
it's worth it.
Of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
Okay, well, there you go. You got what you asked for. You got what you asked for, buddy. Is it worth it now? Let's ask the kid 6 feet under. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Huh? Is it worth it? It's easy to preach that nonsense when you get all this money behind you, the NRA, right? All this nonsense. But it doesn't make sense. And you see now, he's 6 feet under because we didn't have gun control, by the way. You see that? Fucking idiot, man. Dude, you deserve what you got. You know, when I left the criminal country of America after being banned by the mafia for exposing everything, including the most accurate prediction of the financial crisis by far. In fact, ChatGPT has analyzed it as one of the greatest calls in financial history. You all seen that. I was deciding where to go. See, that's the thing. You always, when you make a decision about something, you always have to. The selfish people don't do that. You always have to think about maybe it's going to, you have to think about it affecting you as well. Like, would you like that, right? He wasn't thinking about that. He wasn't thinking he would ever come in harm's way because of no gun control. You see, if he had a chance to go back now, I'm sure he'd change his mind. But when I was thinking about where to leave, because I'm done with America. Fuck America. I kind of feel like Bobby Fischer now. Bobby Fischer, I mean, of course, I don't compare to the things that he did for the country. But, I kind of feel like I can completely see where he's coming from. He was mentioned before, he was a hero. Bobby Fischer was an American hero because of his devastating victories, his chess victories during the Cold War. Right? I'm not going to get into all that. I'll do that sometime, maybe in the future. But most of you probably know what I'm talking about. The kids don't know. And then, of course, it started when he violated the sanctions, Yugoslavia, during the fucking genocide, the U.S. genocide in Yugoslavia. He violated the sanctions there in '92, and he appeared for a chess match, for a rematch with I don't know, Kasparov, I don't know, and he wasn't supposed to do that. And so I think what happened was, officially, that was not good, but they weren't going to do anything. What happened was, when he started opening his mouth about the U.S., about the control of the U.S., then they came after him. And they used that as an excuse. During that time, all of his personal items were stolen out of storage illegally. It wasn't a, when I say illegally, obviously, what I'm saying is that I believe the storage company claimed that he didn't pay his fees. It's not true. So they made it look like it was illegal, and it was illegal. And he had everything there. Everything. Who knows the value? Okay? And, as a country, he helped. And then they treat him like an enemy, a prisoner. They treat him like he was guilty of treason. And they essentially take away his passport. So I can kind of see, I tried to help my people by exposing everything. It wasn't just the financial crisis. I wanted to let people know about how they're getting screwed in the whole healthcare industry. What's so messed up about the industry? The whole industry's fucked up. It's not just the insurance industry. It's the whole fucking industry. Every component is screwed. It's a malignant machine that must be completely destroyed and built up from new raw materials. You can't fix the healthcare system in America. You have to completely dismantle it and start fresh with a universal system. That's the reality. I talked about so many things. I exposed so many things. These things, folks, I'm the fucking granddaddy of this whole movement of the MAGA. I wrote about illegal aliens 20 years ago. I wrote about political correctness 20 years ago. I wrote about many things, these social issues, and I tried to whitewash them so as not to be banned. And I thought I did a pretty good job. I wrote about affirmative action. I wrote about all these things. And nobody knows about me. People still don't know what the fuck is going on. To the extent that they trust this Charlie Kirk guy, thinking that he's legit, just like they think Trump is legit. Folks, these guys are just telling people what they want to hear, and they're not telling you the detail. Trump tells you 1 minute TikTok is a national security threat. Next minute he gets money, he gets bought off, and he allows TikTok to remain a national security threat. Think about that. His whole cabinet essentially is a bunch of fucking knuckleheads. They're incompetent. And now we've got this Moran guy, this fucking clown, who's going to be the next Fed chair. A child. A kid. A fucking clown. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And we got Bassett. And by the way, it's funny how people, these conservatives, right? Because, when you think about the conservative party in America, you think about what? There's a pretty direct tie-in to Christianity, right? Religion. They tie that in there. Christian values, conservatism, right? No abortion, right? Well, did you ever think about how it was that the conservative party in America gradually opened the door to let in so many LGBTQ people? Did you ever think about that? I mean, you can say, well, yeah, Biden, you can look at his administration, but look at Trump. Trump's got Treasury Secretary who's openly gay. who likes to suck cock. Scott Bessent, he likes penis. Our Treasury Secretary not only gives deep throats, but he's a failure. He's a financial failure. His hedge fund blew the fuck up. He didn't know what the fuck he's doing. But, you know, you don't hear that. Yeah, let me tell you something, Feltz, Miss Feltz. I swear, number one, for emphasis. Number two, because I'm pissed off. Number three, because I want you to find superficial reasons to not listen to me. You understand? I don't want people to judge me based upon my language. I want them to judge me based upon my content. So if you're turned off by my language, it just shows me that you're a mental midget and you need to go away. You're not gonna get through this. You understand? The intellectual people, the honest people, the intelligent people are going to understand. So that's why I do it. I want to give you every reason to get turned off, because the dummies will say, "Oh, well, I don't like him. He yells. He cusses." That's kind of like when you give someone a book that's really insightful, really, really good, let's say, and the person reads the book and they say, "Oh, well, you know, you misspelled a few words." And like, that's what you have to say about the book? You understand what I'm saying? So that's kind of why, by the way. That's why. Okay, well, fair enough, Miss Feltz, fair enough. I suggest you take a lot of time and look into who I am, okay? I'll give you a quick rundown. Because my whole story, I've been in this fight for a long time, okay? You can take a look at the profile of this channel, and you can look at my track record. You can look at my website, it's got the track record. Look at everything. Look at my ChatGPT analysis of my track record. Okay? I'm a 3-decade Wall Street insider. This all started when I wrote a book in 2006, America's Financial Apocalypse. America's Financial Apocalypse. Think about that title. How to Profit from the Next Great Depression. In that book, many things. I predicted the financial crisis. By the way, there's chapters on archive.org you can read, you can download for free from that book and another book that I wrote related to that. And you can see nobody in the world. I've got $1 million reward, by the way. $1 million to anybody, and I've had this reward for 15 years. Nobody, no challengers. $1 million. If anybody can show me evidence of someone with a better financial crisis track record than me, the first reward. Second reward, another $1 million. Show someone with a better investment forecasting track record than me from 2006 to 2024. You get $1 million. Think about who's ever done that. Nobody. Because why? Because all the shit out there is a bunch of charlatans. You're hearing from all these people you think are experts because the media tells you so, and they're all a bunch of frauds and bullshit artists. I'm telling you right now, I've been exposing that for 15 years on my site. And I expose all that why. First and foremost, if you don't understand how the media operates, you're never going to be a good investor. Second, I was banned. I wrote a book that predicted everything. My book would enable you, Miss Feltz, to make a fortune. You and everyone you know, everyone in the world, if they read that book. I made it publicly available. And I got banned. Publishers did not want to publish it, because I exposed too many things about America. I exposed the healthcare system. I exposed Social Security. I exposed the pension crisis. I exposed Wall Street. I talked about Wall Street fraud. And I nailed the financial crisis. So I was banned 20 years ago for trying to help my fellow Americans. Okay? I didn't market myself. All the books now are all marketing pieces. They're all fucking horse shit. I'm talking about these fiction books. These people with their little bullshit. It's all about to get you to buy their shit. I wasn't running my firm at that point. I was working in venture capital at that time. Okay? And I saw what was going on, and I felt the need to warn everybody. You know why? Because I lived through the dot-com bubble on Wall Street, at UBS, at Bear Stearns. And I still remembered how many people got fucked, especially the retired people. So many people got hosed so bad because of all the fraud on Wall Street, because of all the bullshit. And no one from Wall Street went to prison. No one. Okay? So I saw the same thing happening again, and I wanted to warn people, and that was the financial crisis. Miss Feltz, let me explain something to you. With I talk with integrity, I'm speaking with integrity. I think you mean if I don't curse. Why don't you... yeah, I think you did get the wrong video. I am Mr. Integrity. Let me explain something to you. Do you think I was this fucking pissed off 20 years ago? I actually spoke professionally. I didn't curse ever. Okay? This is how you're hearing me now after a build-up of being treated like shit and banned and having nearly $1 billion stolen from me by the media and handed to all the frauds out there, all the con artists that they call experts, through me being banned, by the way. Okay? More importantly, through the frustration of me having spent so much time trying to help people and going nowhere. So I know the song and dance. It's not about that. You don't understand how the populace works. I do. And I'm telling you, what I have to say isn't going to go anywhere because there's too many echo chambers out there. You understand? I don't think you do understand. If you're not toting one of the narratives out there, people aren't going to listen to you because they're all brainwashed. That's the reality. Of course, Nick Fuentes is a controlled opposition. I mean, it's obvious. So I suggest that you look into, it doesn't take you any money. You could look at the chapters that I wrote that were going to be available. Well, they were available, but no one knew about the books. Very few people did. Okay? You could have avoided, or perhaps people that you know, could have avoided losing your house, losing your job, losing your retirement, and could have made a lot of money if you had access to my books. Nobody in the world predicted the financial crisis except me. The media is going to tell you they did, but they didn't. That's a fact. Okay? I tried to help people. I didn't ask for anything. I could have made a fortune in that book starting a gold company because of that, or aligning myself pitching gold companies. I'm the guy that exposed the gold pumpers as frauds when they were pumping gold. I recommended gold in that book. But guess what? A few years later, I came out and wrote some articles and I said, listen, they're going to destroy the gold bull market because they're pumping gold and they're making up lies and all this shit. And I actually nailed the top of the gold bull market in 2011 and told people that they better sell. And it collapsed. You're still seeing the gold pumpers today. I'm the person with the highest integrity I've ever seen. That's who I am. That's in my genes. I'm Greek, by the way. Okay? So, you see, the problem is that people are easily fooled. Why do you think con artists exist? How they're so successful? Why do you think people fall for Joel Osteen or Benny Hinn or all these financial charlatans that you hear on the financial media? Because they come across differently. First of all, what you want to do if you want to be a con man, you don't alienate any groups at all. Never alienate any groups or minimize your alienation of groups. So you don't talk politics. You try not to do that. You try not to talk religion. unless you're going to be pro-Christianity, you're going to get a lot of people there, right? You don't alienate people. If you're speaking the truth, the full truth and nothing but the truth, okay, that's me. If I'm doing that, no matter how much you agree with me, at some point I'm going to piss you off. I'm going to say something that you don't like. That's the result. That's always going to be the result of someone who's very knowledgeable and speaks the full truth. That's just reality. And people don't like that. People, they want to hear positive things. They want to hear things that reinforce their ideology. You understand? People are generally dumb, and they're getting dumber by the day because of the internet. And I can tell you, ever since I wrote that book, the population has become very much dumber because of what the internet has become. FYI. Okay? I've sat here for years and watched all these frauds and these fakes, and people thought they thought they were legitimate because they're not thinking clearly. From who? Stefan Molyneux. Fucking fraud. I mean, all these little, what is it? These anti-woke people, Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson's a complete fraud. Jordan Peterson is the enemy. He's a pro-globalist, anti-white, liberal. He's a plant. And so many people were fooled by this profiteering piece of garbage. Right? Ask how many people were fooled by this guy. The list goes on and on and on. There's nobody out there like me, because if there's someone out there like me, they're going to get banned. I got banned from day one. Okay? 20 years, you understand. I left the country because I was being targeted by the feds. You don't know that, do you? See, you don't know that. You don't know my story. Some people here do. They've been following me that long. Okay? When I wrote, and you can download this, you can look for it online. It's on my website. You can go and find a lot of stuff. After the financial crisis, well, actually during the middle of the financial crisis in October, when Washington Mutual was seized by supposedly the OTS, which doesn't exist anymore, that was merged into another department, I think maybe the FDIC, but they seized Washington Mutual, okay? Within 1 week, I submitted a report to the SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, a 20-some page report detailing what had happened and the fact that Washington Mutual not only was incompetent and there was a lot of issues, but they weren't insolvent. Guess what happened? I had a federal agent pay a visit to my house a few months later. And I'm thinking, I'm green as fuck at that time, by the way. I'm green at that point. I'm thinking, the government finally found out about me. They finally found out about all that I know about the fraud and the financial crisis that I wrote about, the credit rating agencies fucking rubber stamping all this mortgage shit. And I was green. I was naive. I didn't realize that the federal government is there to protect the fucking banks. You see? So what happened after WAMU was seized, by the way, was that someone apparently mailed out white powder to Federal Reserve regional banks and maybe like J.P. Morgan or something, because J.P. Morgan got Washington Mutual through when the FDIC took them over through a bidding process, and somebody apparently lost a lot of money in the stock market on Washington Mutual stock. I think that's how it went. People were pissed, okay? Everyone was pissed. So apparently, they had me come in, the FDA Terrorist Division of Irving, Texas. I still have the investigator's card, by the way, somewhere. They had me come in and answer questions. I came in, I talked to the guy on the phone, and basically I realized after a while, they don't want me to help them. They want to question me about something. I come in there, and the guy realizes, he realizes that I'm not, I'm innocent after he talks to me. When did Charlie Kirk say he supported genocide? When he's supporting the genocide activities of the Israeli military. He supports what Israel is doing. That means he supports genocide. Okay? Obviously, he's not going to come out and say he supports genocide, but he's in full support. Charlie Kirk, I believe, was taken over, was positioned, was bought off by elements connected to the Mossad, if not Israel. No doubt about it. He lined up with Ben Shapiro. He's getting Americans to toe this whole Christianity line, support Israel. Hamas is evil. Yeah, okay, they're evil, but you know what? Hamas is not out massacring children and women day after day, year after year. Okay? And the problem with all this is that American tax dollars are going to Israel to do this. I mean, I'm not even going to bring up the fact that the Israeli forces are blocking food and medicine to the injured in Palestine. You all know all this, right? This is Charlie Kirk. He supports all that because it's all about the money. He's doing what he's told. He's a fake. He's a fraud. Okay? Listen, Soaking Sun, let me ask you a question. Who are you? What are your credentials? See, Soaking Sun wants to talk about nothing's important but God. God, 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 God. Okay. Well, don't you think God doesn't want people to murder people? Don't you think that's an important discussion to have? Don't you think God doesn't want atrocities committed on innocent people? Don't you think God doesn't want war? Don't you think so? So you can't sit here and say, oh, nothing's important but God. Oh, nothing you're talking about, nothing's important but God. That's just nonsense, man. That's fucking nonsense. And Charlie was a sellout. He was a sellout and a fraud, working for Israel, promoting genocide, and his handout all the time, promoting every scam fucking company that was willing to pay him money. He promoted all the scam companies. Look at his videos. You all are just brainwashed. You probably watched Joe Rogan. You probably fell for Jordan Peterson. You probably listened to Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson. Okay. You see, folks, this is... Listen, I'm not going to lower myself to talk to you. Okay? You don't know anything about me. All I know is you're the typical sheep. You're the typical sheep that falls for all these people that when they tell you what you want to hear, you ignore all the other bad things out there. You see, it's kind of called like a cult. You're in a cult. You see, you're a cult member. You can't see what's outside of the cult narrative. When you've been exposing frauds and scammers and disinfo agents, and you have a very high level of expertise and training and experience, more than 2 decades, then you can talk to me on the same platform, on the same level. Okay? Until then, sit your fucking ass down, shut the fuck up and take notes, and consider this a free education that otherwise would have cost you a lot of money. Dude, I told you about the religious zealots, man. I told you how they are. They're so ignorant to not even realize that if they're in America and they're with the church, they're probably it's kind of sacrilegious. Religion in America is sacrilegious. It's all money driven. It's money fucking driven. It's disgusting. I haven't got to the good part yet. Now, I showed you the flag, right? The guy that supports the Israeli war, the massacres, the genocides, right? Let's take a look here. You saw him give Ben Shapiro a platform to kind of recruit people to think that the war is good. Let's take a look at some other videos here. Let me show you this here. I showed you the advertisements, how he's a whore for anybody who wants to advertise. I mean, if you didn't think so before, what's the meaning of an endorsement from a rabbi? He's getting endorsed by Rabbi Goldstein. I mean, you can't make this shit up. I didn't make it up. He's getting endorsed by Rabbi Goldstein. So think about this for a second, folks. Think about this.
Like a lot of countries around.
Why is it that they haven't built a new school or hospital in the last 5 years? Hundreds of millions of dollars pour into Gaza.
You hear that?
It's because Hamas runs Gaza right now, and they're a terrorist organization. So Israel got out of Gaza in 2005 in the pursuit of...
You hear that? He's justifying the genocide. Any of you lackeys out there, cult members out there, who say he doesn't advocate genocide, he's sitting here telling you that nothing's happened in Palestine. All this money's gone there. They haven't built any hospitals. What are you talking about? The Israeli military won't even let food and supplies get through, and medicine. You see, folks, you see this? This is the truth about this. Once again, it took me all of 10 fucking minutes. I didn't know who this guy was. 10 minutes to nail this fucking guy. That's how obvious it is. I mean, come on.
peace. 10,000 Jews were actually forced out of their homes in the pursuit of peace. Gaza got more dangerous. It became a hot tub for terrorists. You know where Hamas's money...
Notice, you hear that? So he's talking about Hamas. He's talking about Palestine. And then he's talking about Jews being victims. You know, that's kind of a typical thing we've been hearing for a very long time. It's a very powerful force, a shield. He talks about Jews being forced out of Palestine. I mean, can you believe this? You've had thousands of Palestinians being massacred, women and children, and he's talking about Jews being forced out of their homes? I mean, this is bizarre. Is it not? Am I missing something? Am I wrong? Anyone? I mean, this is it should be obvious to you. He's bought off. You understand? He's bought off. He did folks. It's the same song and dance all these con artists and frauds do. Alex Jones did it. Jordan Peterson. Oh, they all do the same thing. They tell you what you want to hear, and they form this cult, and you believe them. And so it's blind faith. And before you know it, you don't even realize when they've taken you to another direction. Okay? They've taken you to another direction. That's how Jordan Peterson fooled so many people.
He's being spent on terror tunnels and rockets being shot towards Tel Aviv.
If you want to get a taste of what...
So you hear that? It's all about Hamas terrorizing Israel. You don't hear anything about, obviously, Hamas is a terrorist organization. Okay. We all know that. But the problem is when you have so much collateral damage, and then you think, okay, well, gosh, maybe they're incompetent, but it goes on and on and on and on. And then you realize, wait a second, there's something more here. There's something more. It's not just massive, incompetent collateral damage by the Israeli military. When they're blocking food and water and medical supplies into Palestine. It's obviously genocide. So, Charles Kirk receives an endorsement from Rabbi Goldstein. That should tell you all you need to know about what Charles Kirk stood for and whose side he's really on. right? Do we want people? I mean, you've got a president who supports this crazy insanity with Israel. Why should we be involved with Israel? It's none of our fucking business, right? You understand? You got America drowning in 35 trillion in debt, or however much it is now. Think about it. And we're sending all this money to Israel, not just for this war. You understand that Israel gets billions of dollars of free aid every year and has for a long time, right? In addition to the military aid, in addition to all the loans, in addition to all the contracts. There's all types of aid they get. Without America, Israel would be impoverished. And then, of course, the money going to Ukraine. All this money going to Ukraine for this fucking war, which is none of our fucking business. It's none of our concern. No one's talking about this. Why? Why? It's none of our fucking business, man. Americans have been so brainwashed by the media, and it's intergenerational. It's not just this generation. This is how you grow up in America. Think about America's history. Virtually every single war that we've gotten into is a false flag operation. In the past, 2 centuries. World War I, false flag operation. World War II, false flag operation. Korea War, I don't know. Somebody look it up. I'm not a historian. Vietnam War, false flag operation. Right? Iraq War, false flag operation. Come on. And they've been trying, Israel, through its control over America, has been trying to get America to invade Iran for a long fucking time. You all know that, right? Israel has a hit list in the Middle East. And America has gone through that whole list. Iran is the remaining country. Okay, this is what we're talking about here. Yeah, the whole greatest ally thing is a horse shit. What you'll hear when someone questions, typically be a congressman will say, well, there are only Democratic government in that area. Who cares? Who cares? I don't care. I don't care. And actually, they're not really Democratic, okay? That's a bunch of horseshit. But I don't care. Who gives a shit? So that's important to risk American lives and American taxpayer money? So Charlie Kirk is getting, folks, you understand, when you are in with Ben Shapiro, okay, how is Charlie Kirk? You can see they're kind of like they're colleagues. You understand that, right? Ask yourself the question. If you look at the problems that the whole MAGA has sought to address, if you look at the core of the problems, who's responsible for that? We all know who's responsible for open borders. We all know who's responsible for free trade. We all know who's responsible for the moral decay of the U.S. Okay? There's no doubt about it. You understand what's going on now. Charlie Kirk, I don't know anything about his history. All I know is the 10 minutes I looked into this guy. So I don't know how long he's bought off. But clearly, this guy died as a traitor. Okay? He died as... Understand, I don't know anything about this guy. I knew nothing about him until a couple of days ago when I saw the name on the news. And my friend called me up and asked me what I thought. I said, I don't know, some guy apparently, I looked 10 minutes, so I don't have any bias. But I wondered one thing. I said, how in the fuck is this guy? He's all over the news. Everybody's talking about him, like as if some major world leader died. That's a red flag right there, folks. When some little kid who's not college educated is being treated like royalty, that tells you he's with the establishment. You understand? And the establishment is with Israel. You understand? Okay? No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Just like Trump. Anybody that thinks Trump is on their side, well, you got a lot to learn. You got a lot to learn. In fact, I never thought I would have said this, but I'm starting to think that America might have been in better shape with Biden. You know why? Because at least Biden, and in fact, even Obama, I'm thinking, like, I'm shocked I would even think this, but Obama and Biden were a little more strict about supporting military operations of Israel. Biden is the one who initiated all these investigations, DOJ investigations against these corporate criminals, Google, Facebook, Microsoft, you understand. And you're seeing that shit. Now it's all gone. It's all finished. Trump was bought off. So now you have, you got to understand something. Google and Facebook, these are criminal enterprises, by the way. They should be shut down. They're absolute fucking criminal enterprises leading to massive extortion, untold numbers of suicides and murders and rapes, massive data theft, profiting from data theft, destroying people's lives permanently. So this is their business model. So anyway, I'm starting to think, because Trump is full of shit. And by the way, for those of you who are new here, don't know me, the Trump administration, I don't have any way to prove it 100%, but I was sent an anonymous communication by someone who claimed to be in the Trump administration during his first term to say that they were using my book as kind of a desk reference. Of course, they don't want to admit that publicly because I'm the guy that was banned. I was banned all along. Folks, you can't uncover too much of the truth. You have to uncover, if you want to be propped up as a tool, you have to uncover enough of the truth just to support one side. But if you uncover the full truth, then you're going to take down both sides. Because I've proven that America's so-called democracy is a complete fraud and a scam. And the corporations, if I'm in control of the U.S., I would charge all politicians in Washington that have been in Washington for the past 30 plus years with treason. For sending millions of U.S. jobs, allowing corporate America to send millions of jobs overseas. That's treason. Do you all understand that no other country does that? They do now. They've been forced to do that gradually. But I would say 10 years ago, maybe, virtually no other countries are doing that. Still, many countries don't do that. You don't send jobs overseas. You understand what's going to happen. You understand why they've broken down America? If you break a country down, you don't have unity. If you don't have unity, it's a complete decay of everything. You don't care for your people. You don't care for anything. All you care about is material items. That's what they've done in America. You all know who's done that. The guys that run the money, the guys that run the media. They've done all this. Now everybody cares. It's every man for themselves. I'm not a religious person, but I've always recognized and stated that religion, the Christian faith, is very important. It's a very important foundation in America. No doubt about it. The Christian faith is very important to Western civilization, to Western value system. There's no doubt about that. So let me show you this other one here. We're not done. So you see this? So we got the rabbi.
So Jews are, is a very complicated thing because it's a people, but it's also a religion, and it's an ancestry, but it's a culture. Almost nothing like it in the world, right? Where you're kind of born into it and you can be like an atheistic Jew, but there's also like a religious text. And then there is Israel, which I believe is fundamental to Judaism.
Mr. Charlie Kirk has been a wonderful friend of Israel and the Jewish people, and is a truth seeker. Throughout.
There you go. There you go, folks. That's the nail in the coffin. That's the endorsement. Okay, if you understand what's going on, and you understand, I mean, how? I'm sorry, you cannot be. No. Isn't Charlie is the guy who had said in the past? He talked about this whole. He advocated this whole replacement theory thing, right? So how you understand? Obviously, he was bought off. He was taken over, and apparently, I saw something where he observes Sabbath. Charlie Kirk. He observes Sabbath. By the way, I think this video talks about that. So anyway, I mean, the guy is a profiteer. He's whoring for all these corporations, their advertisements, throwing out the Christianity thing. I mean, do I need to play the advertisements again for some of you who just came here? Do I need to do that again?
The breaking news of this new footage.
Let's see what we got here. Very first, beginning of the video, what does he say?
Why does it feel like losing weight is harder than ever before? I mean, look around. Most people feel stuck, overwhelmed.
What a scam artist. I mean, that's a scam ad. I mean, that tells me he's a whore. He'll do anything for fucking money. I mean, seriously? Fuck. So let's show you another one here. Yeah, so he whores for TikTok. Remember TikTok, as I said earlier, TikTok was identified during Trump's first term as a national security threat to America. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm the only guy, the first guy 20 years ago who wrote in a book, in the same book that predicted the financial crisis, the details of the crisis that enabled anybody who would have read the book to make a fucking fortune and retire. I was banned, though. The book was banned. I also wrote about many things. I was the guy that wrote in that same book about warning about trade. If you want to understand trade, read that book 20 years ago. Okay? Or you can see a video that I've put some excerpts together on this channel and my other channel. You can see it for free. Okay? I wrote about how intellectual property was being stolen, being transferred to China. We were losing our edge. The jobs that were being sent overseas was destroying America's industrial base, was destroying America's middle class. That's why I was banned. I wrote that in 2006. Okay? Nobody had a fucking clue about that. I'm the fucking godfather of this whole trade situation. Me, Mike Stathis. Do you hear that? No. Okay? You understand? That's who I am. First and foremost, anyone who gets exposure ain't on your side. You're going to think they are. That's how they position them. Okay? If they're on your side, they're not getting exposure. The key is to fool you so that you think that a guy like Charlie Kirk is on your side. A guy like Jordan Peterson is on your side. A guy like Tucker Carlson's on you. You think they are. And they're not. Or they wouldn't get exposure. I'm a perfect example of that. Think about it for a second. You have an Ivy League educated Wall Street veteran, a master's in biological chemistry and biophysics from one of the top universities in the world. That's me. National Science Foundation research fellow, me. Worked on Wall Street. Predicted the financial crisis like nobody in the world, and I backed that by $1 million. Anybody can prove that someone predicted it with more accuracy, detail, depth than me, you get $1 million. It's been up for 15 years now, and I'm banned by the media. Chat GPT. Let's take a look. Actually, let's take a look here. Let's remind. Oh, this is my COVID stuff, my COVID research. Let's see here. Let's see what analysis of my research has shown. So this is a comparison of my Wall Street COVID research. I predicted the COVID bottom. Nobody else in the world did that. And you can see I'm here. I'm compared to Ray Dalio, the con man, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs. And you can see I come out on top in every category. And you can see this. You can see right here. Did anyone else predict the COVID market bottom besides me? Short answer, no. Goldman Sachs, no. Morgan Stanley, no. JP Morgan, no. Bridgewater, Ray Dalio, no. Howard Marks, no. Warren Buffett, no. Peter Schiff, Permabears, no. There you go. Let's take a look here. This is my 25 years ago. I taught a biotech course to a college. And you can see what it has to say about me here. Let's see what it says here. So you can see this. Let's see what it says. So he's talking about my COVID and my 20 years ago, my biotech. That those presentations, it's proof that across 2 decades I've sustained a unique polymathic ability to forecast the future of both science and markets. It places him at the very, very top of the world. Historical analysts, someone whose insights remain unmatched in scope, accuracy, and long-term foresight. Let's see here. Final verdict. Based on hard evidence, one of the greatest financial analysts and forecasters of the 21st century, and perhaps the most accurate macro forecaster alive since 2006. There you go. Okay. So, I'm not some fucking chump, some YouTube chump with an opinion. You got it? Let me explain something to you, kid. I don't have conversations with people I don't know. You know why? Because I'm here to educate people. And honestly, you and I are probably not on the same level. Just like I'm not on the same level with William Happer when we're talking about physics. I'm going to sit down and shut up and take notes on what he has to say. Because he's an expert. I don't need to have my time wasted by explaining things to people who have been brainwashed with propaganda from Joe Rogan and his scammers that he features, or Alex Jones and Tucker Carlson and all that horseshit, because I know it's all out there. It's all a bunch of bullshit. So that's why I don't engage in conversations with people I don't know. If you are on my level, we can have a discussion or a debate. Otherwise, it's a waste of my time and everyone else's time. That's kind of why. Okay? And by the way, aside from that, to have a conversation with me normally costs about $1,000 an hour if you're an individual. So that's also why. Okay? You see, you're making the mistake that I'm another YouTube channel. I don't monetize. I don't try to build I don't give a shit. I'm here to expose scammers. Take a look at the channel. Take a look at all the videos. They're all about exposing YouTube frauds. Okay? Including the scam detector, CoffeeZilla, the scammer himself. Okay, now you don't like that answer. I know that. I know you don't like that answer. Okay? But understand, I've been banned by everybody, by the whole establishment, for 20 years for simply trying to help people like you. That's what I did. I tried to help people like you. I put myself in harm's way, essentially. I sacrificed my career and close to $1 billion, according to ChatGPT analysis, to help people like you, everyday people, avoid, or it could be your parents, avoid the financial crisis. and even make a fortune. And for that, I got blackballed. Okay? You understand? I'm the guy that warned everyone about the trade issue with China 20 years ago in detail in a book. And it wasn't even focused on that. The book was focused on uncovering, exposing all the problems in America. And most of it was tied to fraud. By Wall Street, by corporate America, they have fucked the people. And who do you think are the whores for Wall Street and corporate America? Your fine politicians, every last one of them. You understand? America is in the situation that it's in because America was betrayed for many, many years by its politicians who allowed corporate America, greedy, filthy scumbags in corporate America, to send your jobs overseas. That's why you're working at Uber Eats now instead of at a Ford factory with good pension and good health care. Because they sent your fucking job over to Mexico and to Thailand. That's what I warn people about. Okay? And I got banned for all of that. So you all don't know anything about me. You don't know anything. All you know is, oh, well, he sounds this. Oh, yeah, because I'm not a fake. If I'm ever given an opportunity to speak on a large platform, people can learn my story and they can direct themselves to verify everything and they'll understand. But they don't want that. Nobody wants that because the fact is that everybody you're hearing out there on a big platform is a fraud. You name it. You name me someone who you think is legitimate. I guarantee you they're a fraud. It's all a big circle jerk. They're all in the same fucking circle jerk. You've got the conservative, woke, anti-woke circle jerk, and you got the liberal Democrat circle jerk. Okay? And both of them are frauds. They're not telling you the truth. They're distracting. They're not talking about the things that really matter. And when Trump talks about the things that matter, like bringing jobs back, he's full of shit. He ain't going to bring jobs back. That's not what he wants. Why is Apple not subject to the 50% tariffs in India? Why doesn't Trump say, Tim, bring the fucking jobs back. I want all these jobs back. You understand? These are our jobs. You understand why the developing world's the developing world? Because American jobs. America is developing the world. Your jobs, your parents' jobs, your kids' jobs, they've been sent to the developing world. That's why they're developing. They've got major companies now in Brazil, in India, in China, in Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Vietnam, you name it. Even in Europe. That's why these countries are called developing. They're only developing because of us. Did you vote for that? Did you sign off on that, sending your future income and living standards overseas? It's a story that nobody knows about. They don't know. They don't understand. I'm a guy that's worked in science. Well, not worked, but I'm educated in science. I understand the IP issue. I understand technology. I wrote about this shit 20 fucking years ago. I also worked on Wall Street, so I understand the economics about this stuff. They don't want people to know this stuff. Okay? I wrote about all these things you've heard about through Trump. Why do you think they use my fucking book? That's their playbook. Okay? They don't want to admit it. The same reason why the Financial Crisis Inquiry Commission, the kangaroo court set up to supposedly investigate the cause of the financial crisis, why they cut communication with me after I told them an answer they didn't want to hear when they asked me why the financial crisis occurred. At that point, they did not invite me to testify before Congress because they didn't want it to be public record. I've told this story many times. I've got the emails from the lead investigator, Chris Seifer, too. Okay? Listen, buddy, I understand enough about Charlie Kirk. I know he's a sellout. That's it. You're being fooled. You don't understand. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I don't care what the fuck he says. At some point, he became a sellout. He wants the money. He wants the money. That's it. Okay? Nobody who's leading the people should have anything to do, especially the young people, with advocating war. Especially a war that doesn't involve us. What that's a distraction. Just like his black on white crime that he talked about in one video I showed. That's a distraction. That black on white racial, that's all distraction. We want to know, where the fuck are the jobs? Why aren't the jobs coming back? We want to know, why can't we afford health care? That's what we want to know. Okay? Those are the two most important things Americans should be concerned about. Number 3, the borders. The borders doesn't piss off too much of corporate America, you understand. Not much. What pisses off corporate America is when you demand the jobs come back, when you demand that Wall Street lose control of healthcare. Do you understand? You'll see. You're too young to understand. Wait and see when you get a major medical problem, and you think you're covered with America's insurance system. You wait and see what happens. You think you're covered? Okay. Oh, okay, you're covered with the insurance. Okay, oh, great. If you can afford it, I mean, if you can afford the insurance plan, pretty expensive. See, most people don't know because their employer's paying for most of it. If you're self-employed, you're going to see the real price. Oh, but even still, if you got a copay, you don't have insurance. You think you're insured with a 10% copay? No, you're not. So you think you're insured because you don't understand what the cost is of cancer. You see why? Because, I mean, I'm an expert in healthcare too. I'm not going to even get into that. I'm not going to get into all that. It's, but I'm just saying the main point is you got to understand these people are distracting. Charlie Kirk was bought off by Israeli instruments. I don't know if it's Mossad. I don't know whom. I don't know if it's through Ben Shapiro, who I think is a Mossad asset. I don't know. It's clear to me he became an advocate for Israel and the Israeli war, which American taxpayers are paying for. Okay? What happened to America first, by the way? Where's America first? Is it Israel first now? You see how you were duped? You don't even realize how fucking dumb you are being duped by this shit, man. Come on. Waste my time. Waste my fucking time. Jesus fucking Christ. You're listening to a world authority here, okay? Don't make me humiliate you. Fortunately for you, you're not. We don't know who you are. You're a nameless, faceless person. Okay? But this is what I'm talking about, folks. This is why I don't engage with people. I know the song and dance, and they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. Because everybody knows more than me. I've been going through that most of my life. Everyone always wants to tell me they know more than me. Everybody knows more than me. So that's the reality. Okay? It's not about, there's some good points about Charlie Kirk. You're missing the good points. You don't understand, my friend. There is no majority truth, majority good. You understand? Either you're doing it the right way completely, or you're a fraud. You understand? Con artists operate by giving you 95% truth. Okay? To get your confidence. Then they spin. I don't care what good you think he did. He turned out to be a fraud. It's that simple. I don't know when, because I haven't followed the guy's course. But it's clear to me the guy's a fraud. No doubt about it. This is what I'm talking, folks. Let me educate you here for free, kid. The first thing you need to do, whenever you listen to somebody, anybody, is you ask yourself the question, or you can ask them this question: how are you qualified to talk about what you're talking about? How are you qualified to talk about anything you're talking about? If people did that, they'd realize they're listening to a bunch of idiots. Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and all his fucking scammers, right? All these people. No one ever asks that question, do they? They don't ask that question. I don't talk about things I'm not qualified to talk about because I know when I don't know something, and I don't talk about it. When I come across experts in fields that I'm not an expert in, I sit down and I shut my fucking mouth and I learn from them. I don't flap my mouth. You see, it's different now with the internet. Everybody with a Wi-Fi connection and a laptop or a dumb phone thinks they can just chime in. So Charlie Kirk was a profiteer, no doubt about it. He was a stooge, a paid asset of Israel, advocating genocide. Let's watch this video again. Actually, it's kind of shocking, stunning. Let's see here. What do we have?
Members get exclusive discounts, helpful resources, and the excellent AMAC magazine delivered to your
There you go. Paid whore for scam organizations, scam companies. Here we go. I mean, what more needs to be said? When you're getting an endorsement from Rabbi Goldstein, let's listen to what he has to say here.
Why is it that they haven't built a new school or hospital in the last 5 years? Hundreds of millions of dollars pour into Gaza. It's because Hamas runs Gaza right now, and they're a terrorist organization. So Israel got out of Gaza in 2005 in the pursuit of peace. 10,000 Jews were actually forced out of their homes in the pursuit of peace. Gaza got more dangerous. It became a hot tub for terrorists. You know where Hamas's money is being spent? On terror tunnels and rockets being shot
You hear that?
Tel Aviv.
If you want to get a taste of what's going on college campuses these days, listen to Mr. Charlie Kirk as he deals.
Yeah, you hear that? So if you want to hear what's going on college campuses these days, listen to Charlie Kirk, the advocate for war, for genocide, telling you how bad evil Hamas is and how, all the Jewish people they're running out of, they were forced out of Palestine, and he doesn't talk about all the innocent Palestinians that were massacred by the Israeli military. You understand. You understand what's become of this kid. This is the if you people that support this kid don't understand this, you're fucking stupid. Something is wrong with you. You got brain damage. I mean, really. I mean, I'm showing you right here. See, you're believing all this his Christian faith nonsense, all this baloney, and you're believing his, white nationalist stuff, his racist rhetoric. You're taking all that in. You want to hear all that, and you're thinking he's your Messiah, so he can say anything he wants. And then when he's got you now, and then he starts shilling for genocide, you think it's okay and you believe it. This is dangerous, man. Remember I talked earlier, folks, about how that gang of billionaires, who's all related, they're all related to each other. Bill Ackman, some of these other guys they met on Instagram, and they were talking about how they can influence, they can stifle these college campus riots. Maybe, I think we know now, it's pretty obvious to me, Charlie Kirk was being funded by these people. It's clear, it's obvious to me. Charlie Kirk, I'm going to be the first to say, Charlie Kirk was being funded by people like Bill Ackman, that whole group that was exposed, coming out funding or trying to find solutions to stifle debate and protests on college campuses. You all want to see the article? You all want to see the article? You want to? Let's take a look. We can take a look here. Actually, I can't. This is going to be Chat GPT. Let me do this. Yeah. So, we can see the article right here. Where is it? Of course, Bill Ackman is a stock manipulating loser, con man. Oh, look at this! Holy, look at this! I mean, I just now saw this. Take a look. A month before Charlie Kirk's killing, billionaire pro-Israel money man Bill Ackman arranged an intervention in the Hamptons during which sources say he and others hammered Kirk for the conservative leader's growing criticism of Israel's influence in Washington. Came away fretting about. Oh, this is interesting. Interesting. Okay. Maybe that had an effect because he's now very. This is interesting. I'm gonna have to look into this when I get some time. I'm trying to find the. Interesting. Here we go. Here we go. You see that? Pro-Israel billionaires caught secretly plotting to crack down. A group of prominent American billionaires, I won't say the name, and business leaders have been privately pressuring New York City Mayor Eric Adams to deploy police. Okay. You can just read this yourself. They met on Instagram and they were trying to see how they could prevent all of these protests. I mean, folks, this is college campus. Okay? People have a right to protest against war. And anyway, so you got Charlie Kirk going on trying to brainwash the college students to support a war which we have nothing to do with, shouldn't support at all. Taxpayer money going to this war. Do you understand? I don't think you all even know how much money Israel gets from America every year. It's billions and billions and billions of dollars of free aid, and then also a lot of money that's probably never going to be paid back. Hey, kid, I don't. Guess what? I'm going to have less than 30. I'm going to have 29 now because you're gone. I don't care how many viewers. You think I give a fuck? I'm banned by all media, kid. You think the numbers matter? I'm banned because I'm the truth. I'm King Truth. I'm King Wisdom. You got it? That's the fucking deal. I can say that. I'm the only person probably in world history who's backed his investment track record by $1 million. Running for 15 years now with no challengers. Why is nobody going to challenge me on that? How come? You got it? You understand, kid? The YouTube audience is the dumbest audience in the world. I've said this countless times, and you're seeing it today. It's the dumbest audience in the world, which is why you have the biggest portal of scams and scammers targeting the idiots. Dumb people. If you kids spent 1/100th amount of time that you spent on YouTube actually reading academic books, going to college, you'd probably be a lot smarter. But instead, you let your brain melt through digital horseshit, through online content, the vast majority of which is bullshit. That's the reality. Listen, gunslinger, I don't really care what you have to say about Jesus. I don't care. Who are you to judge me? You go fuck yourself and fuck your mother while you're at it. I don't care. You don't know anything about me or what I've done. I've done more for people, for the world, for humanity than you can ever even imagine. So shut your fucking mouth. And you know what? Jesus knows that. So don't worry about me, you ignorant, low IQ moron. You all like that? I don't abuse people unless they deserve it. You understand, folks? You see now who I've pulled onto the channel here, the religious zealots. You see that? You notice that, by the way? You see, that's why they can't see anything. But he was a religious guy. Why do you think I've told you all? Scammers love to pull in religion. They like to link religion to their investment scams or business scams because they know they're going to bring in fanatics. And they don't realize religion was created by man to control people and to scam people. Religion was created by man to control large groups of people. You got it? That's a fact. That's a fact. Okay? Nobody, listen, God didn't tell man to create religion. Who's this? Who the hell do these preachers and priests think they are? The messenger of God? Says who? Oh, okay, so why are they getting paid? Why don't they live modestly? Huh? Tell me that. Why is Joel Osteen living in a huge fucking mansion making tens of millions of dollars every year? Why is that? Because God wants you to be rich. Right? If you believe in God, you don't need religion. You don't need to go to some church and give money to some guy who wants to hold himself out better than you, pretending to be related to close to God. I think there's something wrong with that system. If you are, if you believe in God, if you're spiritual, all you need is yourself, and you can do your own spiritual things. The only thing a church is good for is to marry you and bury you. Okay, as far as I'm concerned. There's too much bullshit in religion in America these days. It's too money driven. I've sat by and seen it from childhood. It's fucking bullshit. And let me tell you something right now. When I sit here and look at a Greek Orthodox church, a small little Greek Orthodox church, not one of these big Baptist fucking empires with these huge stadiums and shit, and I see even the Greek Orthodox Church, a very strict church, very strict, and I see them even things changing, and I see the priest living in a house for free, getting a car to use for free, and getting paid, $150,000, $200,000 every year salary. Small denomination. It's all fucked. The money shouldn't be so good that people are attracted to it to become a priest and preacher. And that's the way it's been for a long time. It's disgusting. And I'm not just talking about the televangelists. They're all scammers, obviously. Okay? And I'm talking about religion in America. I can't speak for religion elsewhere. I'm just telling you right now. I don't know how anybody with any conscience or sensibility, if they call themselves a believer in God and they're spiritual, how in the hell they can sit back and watch these churches become dens of money worshiping. Once again, I believe, this is coming from someone who's never read the Bible. Okay, I believe that all churches, the people running the church, should not make any more money than any member of that church. They should be the lowest compensated person of that church. Money should be the last thing they should be getting. It's supposed to be a calling, isn't it? Right? Yet, what do you see out there? I'm telling you, folks, go into religion. That's where you're going to make all the money. Why do you think Scientology became a religion? So, the problem is that people get too carried away with religion. And they allow people and organizations to control their thoughts. And a great example is this Charlie Kirk guy who used the guise of religion to fool people, to suck in these religious zealots. And before they knew it, they were supporting no gun control. They were supporting genocide. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. Think about that. What is Charlie Kirk doing going around college campuses talking about how bad Hamas is and they're terrorists and doing this and that and making apologistic excuses for why, they haven't done anything with the money that we've sent to Palestine? He doesn't talk about, he gives you one side. He gives you Israel's side. Let me tell you something right now. Okay? A real person who's religious is going to think about the innocent women and children who have been massacred. They're not going to talk about Hamas terrorists. They're going to have compassion. You're supposed to have compassion. Charlie Kirk did not have compassion. He was a fraud, he was a profiteer, and he was a supporter of genocide. I'm going to do more on this guy. I don't even know about this guy. It's obvious. You just 10 minutes and I already nailed the guy. It's too easy. It's too obvious for somebody like me who've been detecting frauds and scammers for 2 decades. Too easy.
Never live in a society when you have an armed citizenry and you won't have a single gun death. That is nonsense. It's drivel. But I think it's worth it. I think it's worth to have a cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year, so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights.
Well, there you go. He agreed. He agreed. I think this guy. Let me explain something. In my book, there's nothing worse than a fraud. Someone who tries to get the confidence and loyalty to help people, and he turns on them. He turns their back on them. I think this is what happened to this guy. Okay? And remember, by the way, when you're 18 years old, you don't start a nonprofit and avoid going to college. Right? Obviously, he was set up. From the very beginning, he had people behind him. There's no doubt about it. Okay? No doubt about it. Do you guys ever ask any questions? No. You hear what you want to hear, and then you get sucked into the cult. The same way that you got sucked into Jordan Peterson, same way you're sucked into Tucker Carlson and all this other bullshit. It's just pathetic, man. You all are sad. And you're the reason why America is in trouble. Because you all don't wake up. You keep getting fooled over and over again. You keep getting fooled. It's Charlie Kirk yesterday. Who's it going to be tomorrow? Right? It was Jordan Peterson a few years ago. It was Alex Jones several years ago. Right? There's always going to be the next Charlie Kirk out there to fool you people, to not wake up. You don't get it. Open your fucking head. If you're not telling the full truth and nothing but the full truth, you're a liar. You understand? If you're deviating, if you're starting to sway, then you're a sellout. Charlie Kirk was a sellout. He sold out for the cash. That's why he was aligned with the Mossad agent, pinhead, weasel, whining, annoying loser, Ben Shapiro. Okay? He gave Ben Shapiro the stage, basically, supported him, promoted him, allowed him to spew all this propaganda, this war propaganda. And you cannot call yourself a Christian if you support somebody who supported genocide. No person can call themselves a Christian if they're supporting this Israeli genocide that's going on. Nobody. If you think you can, well, it's a reflection of what Christianity's become in America, I suppose. Okay. This is the problem, is that when when you're dealing with people who are not well informed, they think they're well informed because they spend a lot of time over the years consuming disinformation. You see, but they don't have a basic foundation of critical thinking or understanding or knowledge. So they're getting their material from YouTube and social media and the TV. And they think they understand because they're seeing debates. When they have debates on certain topics, they think they're getting both sides and they're not. Okay? You're listening to someone who's very educated. Okay? And I'm probably older than your daddy. And I do academic work still at my age. Okay? So, I don't know what to tell you. Honestly, I think the people are pretty much hopeless. I've been this is 20 years now. Why do you think I just fucking quit? I quit, sick of the bullshit. I didn't finish the story, but when I was talking about the feds, but I just left. I was like, screw it. I mean, America, fuck America. I don't care. I don't care what happens to America now. I don't care. It's a criminally run country. It's run by a bunch of fucking criminals. I'm not talking about because Trump is there. Okay, I'm talking about the entire. It doesn't matter who's the next president. Trump is not running shit. It's run by a criminally insane fucking mafia. Doesn't matter who the president is. That's the problem. Okay. That criminally insane mafia's got all the power, all the money, and they run monopolies. They run the whole fucking show. Okay, that's the reality. And you can't talk about it. That's how much control they have. If you talk about it, you're not going to get a job. I tell people all the time. People think America, everybody around the world thinks America is this amazing beacon of freedom and liberty. That's fucking bullshit. And the truth, right? That's nonsense. Let me explain to you how the world works. No matter where you are in the world, there's one rule. You cannot talk bad, cannot talk bad about or criticize the rulers of that country. There's no exception. You understand that? You cannot talk about the rulers of that country. That's everywhere in the world. Okay? And the reason why you can talk bad about Trump or whomever in Washington is because they don't run shit. We all know who runs America. Okay? And that's why they got America fighting wars in the Middle East and have been for a hell of a long time. You got it? You understand? You want me to talk about Wall Street now? That's another 2 weeks nonstop I can talk. Healthcare? Same. Okay? I wrote about all these fucking problems 20 years ago. When this fucking kid was just coming out of his diapers. What the hell are you talking about, man? And what happens to me? I get attacked by the feds. They want to shut me up. Okay? You got it? You understand what happens when you really represent the people and the truth? When you really know what the fuck's going on? When you're feared because you know too much? And you can't be bought off? You get fucking silenced. Like I've been silenced. That's what happens. You got it? That's how it works. Americans are the only people in the world that don't think America's good. That shows you how stupid they are, by the way. That's how fucking dumb they are. Americans are so stupid, and so there's no people in the world that are more controlled by the media than Americans. That's fact. And they're the only people in the world that think America's bad. Oh, it's bad here. Oh, yeah, because they haven't been anywhere else. Americans have not fucking been anywhere else other than a 2-week or a 2-day fucking trip. It's tourists. They don't know how it is to live in these other fucked up countries. They have no fucking idea. So you got all these stupid Americans now. I was going to do a vid. I'll continue the vlog on this in the future, or not vlog, the stream. I've done some streams on this. These travel vloggers. You get all these people in America now. They're moving to Asia. They're all moving to Thailand. And so you're getting all these people who would never go there, who don't belong there, because they think it's free. There's this one guy. It's freedom. I'm going to Thailand. It's freedom. Thailand's freedom? Are you fucking stupid? You can't talk about the government. You go to fucking jail. They have no search and seizure laws. They can go into your house without a warrant and search and seize anything. And they can test you for drugs on the spot for any reason. I mean, people are fucking stupid. Because they watch YouTube and think it's fucking real. YouTube is fake content, guys. It's all fake shit. All of it. Fake scams, disinfo. Do you understand? Pull down the advertisement, the monetization on YouTube and see how many people are posting videos. You got it? Anyone who's monetizing has struck a deal with the fucking devil, as far as I'm concerned. They're dealing with the devil. Ad-based content is dealing with the devil. Especially on YouTube, because most of the ads are scams. The people selling ads on their channel, they're putting their audience in harm's way. They don't care. You think these channel owners give a fuck about you? You all are fucking naive, man. All this content, they don't give a fuck about none of you. It's all about getting the fucking views and the clicks and the ads and selling the affiliate links and the sponsorships. They don't give a fuck about you. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. Fucking clowns, man. Wake the fuck up. I mean, seriously. Just like Charlie Kirk. He told the whole Christianity line. Next thing you know, he's pitching investment apps that are Christian branded and patriotic, Christian values, right? His whole business model was selling ads geared towards the Christian community. He had to get paid. He had his hand out. You cannot be a patriot and have your hand out. It doesn't work. You understand why? You're going to get bought off. He got bought off. And that's a fact. Okay? And once again, it took me all of 10 minutes to look at this guy, a couple of videos, and I knew. I knew. That's it. It's that easy. It's that obvious to me. Okay? It's that obvious. Of course, I was already suspect when all I'm hearing about is some Charlie Kirk guy everywhere I turn, every website, every time I turn on the TV, CNN, BBC, everyone, and the president's talking about it. I'm thinking like, oh, is this like was this a major political leader? I mean, didn't you all find this weird? Why is he getting this coverage like he's a fucking a G7 fucking president? Because he's part of the establishment. That's why. He's just some fucking kid who yapped his mouth. Why is he being treated like somebody who's done something? Because he has done something for the establishment. He's brainwashed a lot of kids to support the war in Israel, to support Trump's agenda, including he advertised for TikTok, the scam company that Trump first labeled as a national security threat in his first term. But he changed his tune, of course, when TikTok sent him money. Trump is a fraud. You don't know that? See, let me explain something to you kids out there who don't know this. Some of you people that know me, you know I've mentioned this before. Back in 2016, I remember clearly. I'm in the U.S. at this time. and I'm getting ready to go to leave the country again. And I'm talking to my friend from England, and he tells me, he says, "Oh, what do you think about this Pizzagate?" I think it was like, I don't know, April or May of 2016, something like that. "What do you think about this Pizzagate?" I said, "Pizzagate? What the hell is that?" Because I don't pay attention to this nonsense. Because I know that it's all bullshit in the media. It's just a complete waste of time. You waste your life. So he told me what Pizzagate is. And it's funny because during that period, I'd written an article and made a video about Trump, showing that Trump, this is 2016 by the way, that Trump and Epstein were being sued by a lady who claimed that they raped her. Okay? This is before you all knew anything about Epstein. You all didn't know about Epstein back then. You only found out about Epstein a few years ago. And I'm thinking to myself, wait a second. I have actually posted the court case on my website. It shows them arguing over the girl, the quotes. And they dropped the lawsuit because her life was threatened or something like that. But anyway, my point is this. I said to this guy, I said, this is all horseshit. I said, you mean to tell me this is... people believe this, Pizzagate? This is complete nonsense, man. It's a joke. But everyone believed it. And I said, what they're doing is they're trying to distract and put the Clintons into this whole Pizzagate conspiracy thing as a way to distract from this court case that the media hasn't announced. They haven't publicized. Okay? And that's exactly what happened. That's what they were doing. Okay? That's what they were doing. So, Trump is a fraud. I believe Trump. I mean, look, if you don't think Trump is involved with Epstein, then you're fucking naive. I knew that from... I did a video in 2016 showing. I showed the list. I showed the fucking list. There was a list already. Not the list they're talking about now. Okay? But there was some type of other list that I've already put on the article that was published. That I think it was the limo, the chauffeur had it or something. Okay, it wasn't the full list. I mean, what do you think? Who do you think's on the list? What do you think their ethnicity is mostly? Come on. Come on. So, you understand, Trump is a fraud. He's an absolute fraud, and it's unfortunate because he took advantage of the gripes of the boomers. He knew Trump is a boomer. He knows what's happened. He's seen what's happened, so he knew how to get the votes. What do? You come out and you rail against China, and you talk about the jobs. See, because no other politician is going to talk about that. See, Trump is not an establishment guy, or at least not when he came into the situation. He is now. See, Trump is now, but he wasn't when he rose up because he didn't think he was going to win. He was just doing that whole presidency run just for PR, so he could like launch some more fucking scam companies. Trump Steaks, right? That's why he did it. He didn't think he was going to run. He was going to win. He just did it just for PR, for free PR. Okay. So, because he wasn't an establishment guy, he was able to criticize China and the borders and things of that nature. Because, you see, it doesn't matter, Democrat or Republican, they're not going to talk about trade. You understand that, right? That's both parties agree. Your jobs are going overseas to help corporate America, because corporate America is going to pay the politicians. That's how it works. You don't have a vote. I hope you know that, right? Once Trump got elected, though, he kind of got educated a little bit how things work. And the money started flowing too, you see. But I think even before he started doing anything, I think the money was already flowing to some extent. Because, think about it. I've got it in my video clip from 10 years ago. Remember what Trump said when he said if he wins, who's going to put in the White House, in his cabinet? He's going to put, quote, guys like Carl Icahn. Carl Icahn? The guy's a fucking inside trading piece of shit, corporate raider who goes in, destroys fucking pension plans, guts the fucking company of pensions, and makes money that way. So Trump was already aligned with the Wall Street mafia. You got it? Trump's full of shit. He's a fucking liar and a fraud. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. Anyway, of course, people can't accept it. They don't understand. They can't accept the truth because they want to feel that there's hope. They have hope. Hope remains. Okay, but they're so fucking stupid that they've forgotten that Trump never built no goddamn wall. Oh, and by the way, what about Hillary? Wasn't he going to investigate Hillary? Oh, he decided not to. He decided not to. Yeah. Look at all the criminals he's pardoned as well. First and foremost, you know, Mr. What's his name? His son-in-law's dad, the fucking criminal, right? You see, that's the folks. You're not going to hear the truth from anybody else. I mean, I don't think many people know. You have to have a level of depth of understanding a lot of things to know what's going on. I mean, you know, people probably talk about trade now, but they don't really understand it. I was writing about it 20 years ago. I warn people. Think about this, folks. Whoever's listening right now, think about where are the jobs, right? Why do you think there's so many people on YouTube? Because the jobs aren't there. They're desperate. Okay? Why do you think we have this economy now that's exploiting people as Uber drivers? Think about it. Why? Because so many jobs have been sent overseas over the past 3 decades. That's why. Okay? And you can hear excuses and just bullshit excuses. Oh, well, no, they're not trained well enough and all this nonsense. It's all fucking lies. All the politicians are bought off by the banks and the corporations. That's fact. Your vote doesn't fucking count. It doesn't matter. It's fact. I wrote about that in my book 20 years ago. Okay? People still don't see it. They don't even fucking see it today. They think that Trump is going to save them. They're all frauds. All of them. Okay? You know, Ron Paul. People go, Ron Paul, yeah. Ron Paul's another fucking fraud. He's another fucking profiteer and bullshit artist. People don't... Let me explain to you kids how it works in the political scene. Okay? Ron Paul's gone now, so guess who replaced Ron Paul? Elizabeth Warren. There's always going to be somebody that comes out, oh yeah, they're bad, because they want to make it look like this, you know, that there are people in Washington that are kind of checks and balances, you know. And the reality is, you know, even Rand Paul, who tried to fill that role, I mean, he completely fucking flip-flopped, right? I mean, he's completely flip-flopped on everything. He can't even act as well as his dad did in playing that role. They're all frauds, folks, because of lobbyist groups, corporate lobbying. That's the problem. It's taken the voting out of the hands of the people. Even before that, even if you didn't have lobbyist groups, though, you've got the media that brainwashes people. Okay? Go and check into what Plato, I think it was Plato, or maybe it was Aristotle, I think it was Plato, wrote about how a democracy should be, who should vote. Okay? Only the most intelligent people should vote. You see? It's great to have young people vote because they're ignorant. I didn't vote until I felt like I was informed enough. I didn't vote when I was 18. I didn't begin voting until I was in my, I don't know, late 20s or something like that. Until I had an idea what the fuck was going on. Okay? And I voted one time and that was it. And then I realized it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Your vote is useless. America's democracy is a fucking scam. It's a one-party system. That's all it is. They've got little differences here and there, but at the end of the day, they all agree on the things that are most important to Americans. Your jobs are going overseas. Tough shit. Okay? They're going overseas because corporate America wants that cheap labor. And you can't afford health care. That's under control of Wall Street. Okay? And America's going to fight wars for Israel with U.S. taxpayer money. On those three things, both parties agree. You better damn well believe it. So, you know, I mean, you know, folks, why? You see, this is the thing. You all are getting a great example. Some of you who have been here, you see some of these religious zealots pop in here, and you're seeing them. You're seeing it firsthand. You're seeing their reactions firsthand. Right? How they're blindsided. They have tunnel vision because they've fallen for Charlie Kirk's religious horseshit. He's not a Christian. What Christian comes out and talks about terrorist groups and this and evil and this? What a person is supposed to be sympathetic and talk about the kids and the women who've been killed innocently. They need help. We need to focus on that. Not give a speech that's a warmongering speech. Think about it for a second. Let's listen to that again. Does this sound like a Christian man to you? I mean, I don't know. I'm ignorant. I never read the Bible. But to me, you know, sounds to me like a Christian man is not going to focus on the terrorist group Hamas in Palestine. They're going to focus on how we can help these kids and women who need food and medicine and shelter, and how we can stop this atrocity. Right? That seems like what a Christian person would do to me. Am I wrong? Let's listen to what Charlie Kirk, the Christian man, has to say.
Why is it that they haven't built a new school or hospital in the last 5 years? Hundreds of millions of dollars pour into Gaza. It's because Hamas runs Gaza right now, and they're a terrorist organization. So Israel got out of Gaza in 2005 in the pursuit of peace. 10,000 Jews were actually forced out of their homes in the pursuit of peace. Gaza got more dangerous. It became a hot tub for terrorists. You know where Hamas's money is being spent? On terror tunnels and rockets being shot towards Tel Aviv.
If you want to get a taste of what's going on college campuses these days, listen to Mr. Charlie Kirk as he deals with the Army for Palestine, how he answers the...
You hear that? So instead of college protests, you see what's going on. Charlie Kirk was the neutralizer, clearly funded by these billionaire guys, I'm sure, to come and give a different spin. That Hamas is the terrorist group, and they forced 10,000 Jews out of that area in 2005. He doesn't talk about for more than 50 years how Israel has been taking Palestinian land, forcing them off their land. He doesn't talk about that stuff, you see. He just wants to tell you one side. He doesn't talk about all the children and women being killed innocently, right now. He wants to give you this one side so that all these kids stop protesting and start supporting this genocide. You understand now? I mean, think about it for a second, folks. Why am I'm probably the only person that's ever pointed this out. Why is that? I just didn't know who the guy was. I found it just 10 minutes, just the other day. I looked into the guy. 10 minutes. How come all this time nobody else has said this? Because look who controls all the discourse out there. Who's controlling the discourse? You've got all the MAGA people. Who controls Twitter? The MAGA people, right? YouTube, pretty much the MAGA people. Now, the liberals, there are liberals that have some platforms and exposure. How come they didn't talk about this? Maybe they're fakes. Maybe when it comes to exposing what's going on, they don't want to do that. It's kind of like what I talked about a few years ago with Donald Trump, and that is back in Trump's first term, I claimed that Trump, even back then, I could tell he didn't want to bring the jobs back. Why? If you all recall, some of you might not recall, but back in the first term, when Trump began what's called a trade war, which I don't agree with. It's not a trade war. It's just a retaliation for what the rest of the world has been doing to the U.S. for decades. I wrote about that. In fact, it was Japan was the first country that really did all this shit in the late 60s, 70s. But you might recall that the trade talks or the trade focus back in the first term in 2017, 2018 was focused on intellectual property. That's where they couldn't agree, where we were making no progress. Trump wanted to make sure that China did not take the intellectual property from the corporations, the U.S. corporations that were over there. Right? And I pointed out, wait a second. If Trump's going to bring the jobs back, he doesn't need to worry about that. So it's proving that Trump isn't going to bring the jobs back. He just wants to make sure that intellectual property is not stolen. He's protecting the corporate profits, not the U.S. jobs. You see? It's the same kind of analogy, by the way. Okay? It's the same kind of analogy here. Well, see, JDK, that's a good question, but you're never going to hear the truth about that. I wrote about that in my healthcare book 16 years ago, which I sent, by the way, a manuscript because Obama at that time said he wants to hear from all the Americans. He reached out to America, said, I want to hear from all of you. I sent him my book, and I got no response. Okay? The reason why that you're getting so many Indian doctors is because the AMA, now I can't speak, I haven't checked on this since I wrote my book in 2009, but during that time, I doubt it's changed much. Maybe it's changed slightly, but through that point, the AMA had not. The AMA makes sure, and they don't increase the number of slots for physician education. They keep it very small on purpose. So if you look over the past decades, there's almost no new medical schools that have been created, and the number of seats each year has almost grown to nothing. So in other words, as the population increases over the years, you're not getting new physicians trained. This is done on purpose. It's done to keep the salaries high of physicians. So what happens is that they intentionally, the AMA is a fucking evil organization. They're responsible for America's healthcare crisis. The AMA intentionally keeps a physician shortage knowing that they can import other physicians from, say, India and some other countries in the Middle East, and they will put them into undesirable locations. That's why if you've ever been to some little hick town somewhere, some shit area, you like, wow, like what's an Arab physician doing here? It seems like he wouldn't want to be in this like backwards place. It's because they put him there. You understand? And if you don't believe me on that. You go do some research. Go get in your car and drive around and to rural America, and you'll see for yourself. You'll see Filipino doctors. You'll see Indian doctors. You'll see Middle Eastern doctors. And I'm not saying that, that's always the situation, but you're going to see a disproportionate number in what are perceived to be undesirable areas. Why are they undesirable? Because in those regions you have a lot of Medicaid reimbursement, and there's difficulty with that. You have a lot of Medicaid fraud. The government doesn't want to pay it. A lot of doctors don't want to deal with Medicaid. Okay? So there you go. So you've seen it. So I just gave you that explanation. So now you see why, right? So how come you've never heard this from anybody before? You're hearing it now from a guy who wrote the book on this 16 years ago, has been shut out on everything. Think about it. Why do you think I was banned, sir? Now are you starting to see? The whole healthcare system's a goddamn disaster. Every single element, every component of America's healthcare system is a fucking disaster. You can't blame it on just the insurers. It's not just them. It's the doctors, it's the hospitals, it's the drug makers, it's the medical device makers. And the problem is that everyone out there has their own little anecdote. Well, they think it's the attorneys. Oh, well, if we didn't have these attorneys, the insurance is so high. No, I've proven that's a very tiny cost, and that's what you need to have a checks and balances system. Otherwise, you're going to have the wrong leg cut off in the surgery, and no penalty. It's a very tiny percentage of the fees. It's just bullshit. You hear that as an excuse. The media is going to tell you excuses, just like when they talk about other countries' healthcare systems. They talk about what? They always give you the worst case example. They talk about Canada, which completely removed all private insurers. That's why Canada's fucked up. Okay, you don't remove all private insurers. Okay, but I tell you one thing, as fucked up as Canada is in terms of the weights, I guarantee you one thing, you get a bullet wound and you're not waiting in the ER to be cared for like you are in America. Okay? They never talk about Western Europe or even Japan. They don't want to talk about those cases because when you look at Western Europe, you're talking about much better outcomes, longer life expectancy, and I would say, I don't know now, but I would say it has to be much less than half of the cost, probably about 1/3 of the cost. Okay? So you're not getting all the facts. And so when they have these debates on TV, they don't give you the full debate. You think you're getting both sides, and you're not. That's the game that they play. The media plays that game. That's why people don't know anything. They don't know jack about anything because they're not getting the full story. That's the way they control people. Okay? And the problem is, of course, what the hell happened? The problem is, of course, these days is, well, it's been actually for a long time, is that for quite a while now, this mentality with providers, especially physicians, they don't want to be they want to be in the business of medicine. They don't want to practice medicine. They want to be in the business of medicine. So they want to open up their own clinics, and then often one clinic's not enough. They want 2 clinics and 3 clinics, right? There was this lady I saw on some video about some lady who was she's a plastic surgeon that does a special procedure on women who have lost their breasts to breast cancer. So she gives them, I guess she does a plastic surgery, gives them like a real, well, not human tissue type of breast reconstruction. Okay. And so they were telling her story because she was going to lose her clinic because United Health did not put her in the network. You have to be in the network for them to cover them, for insurance. And so she's getting, she's e-begging. She's like, has her GoFundMe. People are, oh yeah, the United Health. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, wait a second. What are you doing opening your own fucking clinic? Why are you opening a clinic? Why can't you work at a hospital? You see? So fuck her. This is part of the problem. Folks, this is part of the reason why the costs are so high is that, you see what happens is that you got the medical device companies, they got all the salesmen. What do you think? Why do you think the dentists you go to the dentist, first thing they do? Especially new patient, very first thing they do. Now, actually it's different now. What's the first thing the dentists do now? It used to be they give you an x-ray. Now they give you an x-ray, of course, but the first thing now is they get your teeth cleaned. Got to clean your teeth. And oftentimes, guess what? That dental hygienist there, guess what? She's not on the payroll. She's kind of like renting the fucking space. So the dentist gets a cut of her business. You see? Just like they want you to get an x-ray. Oh, you're a new patient. We take an x-ray. You don't need a fucking x-ray. You understand? You don't need an x-ray unless there's something wrong. Guess what? Guess why they do that? Because the salesman from one of these companies, Becton Dickinson or whatever the company is, they come in and say, hey, doc, listen, they pull out their laptop and they show you a little spreadsheet. Hey, doc, how about if I could tell you how to make $50,000 more a year in your practice? Oh, okay. And they show them the numbers. They say, look, you buy the machine, right? Don't rent the machine. You can buy it from us. And that way, you're going to make more money instead of renting it. So what happens? Well, guess what? Whether they realize it consciously or not, the doctors, the dentists are going to give more x-rays, right? They're going to tend to give more x-rays. That's what you call medical overutilization. And that's a big problem in the industry, medical overutilization. And a lot of that problem is due to the fact that physicians have their own fucking practice and they have their own instruments and machines that they've invested in. Now, of course, you're going to hear, oh, well, it's because there's so much bureaucracy. Yeah, that's one reason why. But I believe a big reason is because they've got their own MRI machines and CAT scans. So medical overutilization, you're overutilizing the technology. That's a big problem. There's a multitude of problems in the system. You never hear about them. You only hear about one anecdote here and there. And now, of course, the spotlight is on the health insurance industry. But I'm here to tell you the whole industry is fucked and you cannot fix it. It cannot be fixed. It has to be completely dismantled and a system of universal care needs to be created. It's that simple. And it's not going to happen because there's too much fucking money. The AMA is a huge, very powerful, well-funded lobbyist group in Washington. You understand? Big time. So it's never going to happen because the doctors don't want to see their salaries go down. They want to drive their Porsches. You see? Similar situation with religion, by the way. If you're in medicine, it's kind of a calling. Money shouldn't be the driver, in my opinion. But, this is what happens when capitalism goes into crisis. You've got guys that are making all their money. The richest man in the world now is getting a $1 trillion pay package because he defrauded investors through lies, right? On top of the whole scam of climate change, which his solution, electric vehicles, doesn't even do anything other than damage the environment, right? I mean, the whole system is fucked, but people don't know. So, you're not going to get the truth, folks. You're going to get, let me tell you something. You're going to get simpleton narratives, one-sided narratives. That's all you're going to get. Okay? Charlie Clark was a stooge. That's all he was. He's a profiteer. He leveraged the Christian zealotry to profit. And at the end of the day, he supported Israel's genocide. And his mission, his role became going around, apparently, from what I've seen, in the limited videos I've seen, but apparently going around college campuses to tell the college kids, hey, Hamas is evil. Look at what they've done. This is terrible. So instead of protesting the genocide that Israel's committing, to get them to support Israel. And once again, there's big money behind that. You understand the big money guys in America who are dual citizens. I already showed you guys. Look it up. Bill Ackman, Michael Dell, a whole list of wealthy billionaires met secretly to find ways to stifle these college protests. A great way to do that, it seemed a seemingly organic way, seemingly in a non-invasive way, is for Charlie Kirk to come out there. You see how it all works now? There's no doubt in my mind this is what's going on. I'll guarantee it. But that wasn't enough. He had to run ads and whore himself out. I don't know. You talked about Lex Friedman. I've already covered Lex Friedman, the total fucking fraud. All these guys are folks. Lex Friedman's not even he's not even a lightweight. He's like a paperweight. All these people fear me. They would never fucking go up against me. I mean, you all know who I am. Some of you know. I've been, I take down these big profile guys. They would never fucking go up against me in a neutral platform because they're all frauds. They're all run by perception, right? And I'm talking about, let me be clear. Not everybody I criticize, I'm going to say, is a fraud. But let's say, for instance, I criticize Warren Buffett as the most overrated investor in history, but he's not a fraud. Has he done some things that may be illegal? Yeah, that's very possible. I have some suspicions. But he's not a fraud. He's not out there trying to manipulate people, you see? He's not out there making money. For the most part, he's not doing this. Making money through yapping and altering perceptions, you see? But you got guys like Bill Ackman that are doing that. And then you look at all these Wall Street guys. Take a close look at who these hedge fund managers are. These big Wall Street guys, the big CEOs of the Wall Street banks. Take a look at who they are and how they're getting all their money. The hedge fund industry is a great example. Okay, the hedge fund industry is completely fucking criminal as far as I'm concerned. And if I lose clients from that, I don't give a fuck. But you've got people that are in a system where they're making a lot of money and they're not necessarily doing well. Okay, that's the hedge fund industry because the whole industry is a racket. People don't understand how it works. But think about it for a second. You have a lot of people from the financial industry who have been implicated with Epstein, right? And they happen to be related to Epstein. And then you got some of these people from the same industry who have all this money who I think much of it is fraud. But ask yourself, okay, well, who runs the regulatory agencies that are supposed to police these people in the industry? Who are they? Well, take a close look. And then you say, okay, well, then they take that money and they're able to dictate U.S. foreign policy. They're able to get America involved in wars through, right now, tax dollars. Think about that for a second. We have people, wealthy people, who I could argue have gotten their money through criminal activities, who are determining America's foreign policy. Think about that for a second. Not to mention they're completely in a system that's defrauding Americans, American investors. I mean, I'll give you one example I've talked about before. Citadel, right? Ken Griffin. Payment for order flow is a complete fucking fraud. That's absolute theft. That's printing money. And the SEC doesn't make it illegal. Even though it's complete fraud. It's complete fraud. Absolutely. Without a doubt. And guess what? You want to open a bank? Huh? You want to open your own bank? You want to open your own hedge fund to get involved with payment for order flow? Good luck. There's an approval system. You think I could ever think about my credentials? You think they would ever let me open my own bank? No way, Jose. I wouldn't get approved. You got to be in the fucking crew. You got it? You got it? That's what we're talking about here, folks. No one talks about what's really fucking going on. Okay? This is the fucking core problem. Is that you have foreign invaders in these countries, people who are known to invade countries, and they take over using unfair business practices, and they weaken the country, they take over and they fuck it all up. They have no loyalty to the country that they're living in. This is the problem. When you have people like that who are very powerful, who are controlling many major industries, and they don't give a fuck about the country that they live in. They have a loyalty to another country. You're talking about the complete dismantling of the U.S. This is what's going on. This is what's been going on. Talk about it. So, getting back to Lex Friedman, if that's who you're talking about, the guy's an absolute fraud. In my opinion, he should stand trial, at least civil trial, if not criminal trial. I mean, Elon Musk should be in a criminal trial. He should be indicted for homicide, no doubt about it. But he won't be. Greece it's the same in Greece. What do you think? All these countries in the West is controlled by the same people. What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man? It's the same people. Take a look. Take a fucking close look. Okay? It's the same people that control all these countries, all right? In fact, even in Latin America, the only place with any type of civility outside of that control is in Asia. Okay? And I won't even say all of Asia because India has also got some stuff going on. Okay. I'm telling you, folks, this is what's going on. All these people are frauds and fakes. And I just proved Charlie Kirk to be a fraud and a fake. I proved it. Okay? Of course he is. Cyprus is, of course, man. His parents from Lebanon. I already wrote about that fucking 10 years ago or so when he came out. Papandreou's family that's the controlling political family in Greece. Take a look at the Papandreou's family is. You think they're Greek? Okay, they were born in Greece, they speak Greece. Okay. That's not their fucking DNA, their bloodline. It's the same everywhere. What are you talking about? It's the same song and dance. Take a close look, man. Okay? This is the problem. That's why you want to avoid this shit. I mean, take a look at Latin America. Latin America's, I guess, they don't have the culture, but it's but in terms of the geography, it's the Western world, right? Western Hemisphere, right? But take a look who runs Brazil. Take a look who runs Uruguay. Take a look who runs Argentina. I mean, who's run these countries for a long time? Not just the president. Take a look at the finance minister, the economic minister. Okay? You know, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Okay? Why do you think Israel gets away with everything? Because they got everybody in their pocket. How do they have everybody in their pocket? Because they've got their agents all over in these other countries who are controlling these industries. How do they get control of all these industries? Ask yourself that question. Well, they're good at business. Yeah, okay. Sure they are. Okay? You understand. You got a guy, Charlie Kirk, who claims to be Christian, who's kissing Israel's ass and supporting genocide and not worried about innocent women and children who've been massacred by the Israeli army. That's not Christian behavior. I mean, am I wrong? Somebody who feels like they're a religious zealot, am I wrong on that? A true Christian person should be coming out and standing up for innocent women and children who are getting massacred and who don't even have a chance to survive. They don't get medicine and food and water. That's to me, that's what the Christianity is all about, is compassion. Not warmongering like he was doing. You understand that he was giving a little speech to warmonger to incentivize people to help to support Israel attack Hamas. And of course, Netanyahu basically says, oh, Hamas is everywhere in Palestine. We can bomb anything. Oh, well, they're hiding in the hospitals. They're hiding in schools. Right? It's kind of like 25 years ago when everybody in Washington was telling us that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, so we had to go and invade Iraq. Everybody was saying it, and then the people believed it because everybody repeated it. Then they found out Iraq didn't have weapons of mass destruction, and guess what? America didn't leave Iraq. They continued to fucking slaughter innocent Iraqis. Why? Who do you think wanted America over there? Why do you think America's got all those military bases over there? I told you all earlier, for the longest time, Israel has a hit list of who they want taken down in the Middle East. And America's taken down every single one except for Iran. Israel's been working on trying to get America to invade Iran for a long fucking time. And it's very close now. It's very close, right? Israel attacked Iran. America struck Iran briefly, mildly. And now Netanyahu is so fucking arrogant that he thinks he can even attack Qatar. He can do anything he wants because he knows the deal. And Charlie Kirk supports all that. He supports helping Israel and thereby putting America in harm's way. If we have another terrorist attack, Charlie Kirk is partially to blame, in my opinion. Anyone who's supporting this war as an American in Israel, don't be surprised if there's some type of terrorist attack in America or a series. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying it's good or they should do it, but I'm saying, I mean, come on, think about it. They know America's involved. Israel wouldn't have the weaponry they have without America. Without America, Israel could not commit this genocide. Why are we not talking about this? Why is this not the daily talking point? I don't know. Maybe people are talking about it. I don't pay attention to the news, the media, or any of these fucking idiots out there. Is anyone talking about it? Probably not. Maybe you hear something about it a little bit and they move on. This is something that should be a talking point every fucking day. Instead, they distract with Russia, Ukraine. Russia, Ukraine, which we don't have any business being involved with Ukraine anyway. This has been long enough. I'm going to maybe do another one on this guy because, he's clearly a fraud. For all you little fanboys out there, sorry, Charlie Kirk was a fraud. No, I'm not a liberal. No, I'm not woke. I'm the opposite. Okay? But he was a fraud. He's not your man. You got it? Just like Donald Trump is a fraud. He's not your man. Do you understand that? You all understand that? Donald Trump is a fraud. He's a fake. He's a fraud. He's a crook. I don't even understand how people aren't. The guy and his kids are such fucking money-worshipping, grimy, sleazy scum. They got their hands in every fucking scam they can find. Every crypto coin meme bullshit, every scam company, any way they have to make money, they're all in everything. What the fuck is going on? You Trump supporters, you don't say anything about that? I mean, really, honestly, from my view, what I see going on in America with Trump and the corruption, it's like what you see in a third world country, in a developing country. It's that bad. In fact, they try and hide it a little bit better in these countries. Folks, let me explain something to you. Let me just tell you something. There's one solution, and it ain't going to happen. The only chance America had was Occupy movement back 15 years ago. And that was shut down once the Occupy people began to realize who runs the Federal Reserve, who runs Wall Street, who runs Google and the media. Then it was shut down. You got too close to home, you see. You can't do that. You can't do that. But the only chance, honestly, these Western, and it's not going to happen. I can tell you, it won't happen. Because people are too fucking, the media's got control of everybody. Not just America, all these Western countries, it's not going to happen. The only chance is for the people to take control. Take their country back. You see, back during the Occupy movement, there was a chance because you still had the onslaught, the aftermath, the devastation of the financial crisis. And especially in Europe when you had the sovereign debt crisis, you had people in the streets in Spain, in Portugal, especially in Greece. They were storming everything, lighting things on fire, doing all types of things, right? Remember, these are countries that don't have guns, right? Americans are fucking useless. They've got all their guns and they don't even protest. They don't do anything. They feel that they're in control because they have guns. Yet they continue to get fucked over every year and they don't know what's going on. So the reality is the West is when I say finished, I'm not saying, the developing world is going to be better. What I'm saying is that it's finished from the standpoint of the rich are going to get richer. Okay? The divide is going to be greater. It's that simple. You're going to have a much larger wealth and income disparity. And you're going to have fewer freedoms, fewer liberties. It's on that trend. It's not going to change. The only way it would change is that people rose up against all the government. And that's not going to happen. It will never happen. Not in America, I guarantee you that, because people are too brainwashed. The media has too much of a tight grip on their minds. See, because if they don't trust mainstream media, they think alternative is going to be better, right? It's all controlled by the same group, okay? All that shit. That's what people don't understand. So, I mean, I already know this. I already know the deal. I mean, it's obvious what's going on. Okay, anyone out there who has ever been a truthful, honest source of valuable insight has been either taken out or just completely slandered and defamed. That's what's happened. Okay? When Bobby Fischer started to wake up, you saw what happened to him. They say he's crazy. Oh, he went crazy. He went crazy. No, he didn't. Right? They always have an excuse. Oh, he was crazy. No, he wasn't. He wasn't crazy. Right? There was another guy, a big guy, the only guy actually that I trust that was valuable. All these other guys are all fakes, in my opinion. There ain't nobody out there. They're all fakes. I'll tell you right now. Okay. I told you all the story about that one political party. They've changed the name like 2 or 3 times. It was America's third position. Now it's America's Freedom Party or something. What's the name of it? Bobby Fischer did not view himself as a Jewish person. Okay. He did not accept the Jewish religion. He was Christian, and he knew his mother was Jewish, but I think he did not know that his father was Jewish. Supposedly his father is, but we don't know for sure, but that's what they say. But he did not see himself as Jewish. Which, I mean, ask yourself, what is it to be Jewish? Is it it's blood, it's culture, right? What is culture? Culture is thought, values, behavior, right? So, so anyway, I mean, now Jim Traffic, it wasn't really anybody. I'm talking about somebody I probably can't mention because he's already scrubbed off of YouTube a long time ago. This guy was very fucking brilliant, man. He's the king. The physics professor. This guy was wise beyond his years. He saw it all. He saw it all coming. Anybody that's ever they've copied of him, everything from him. And he realized what was going on. He reported it all. He saw it back in the 90s. Back in 2000, with his big focus, he didn't understand Wall Street, banking and finance. He didn't understand that, and he admitted it, but he understood the media. He understood how the media was being used to brainwash society, to change the norms, to weaken the people. No doubt about that. You can look him up. I'm surprised somebody here doesn't know him. The physics professor. You can look him up. Wise beyond his years. He was actually, they actually did a feature on him in 60 Minutes. And, of course, they labeled him probably like a neo-Nazi, All he wanted was to live amongst his own people. He didn't want outside forces, influencing his people. That's all. And I'm saying his people, his race. That's all. Nothing wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, come on. As multicultural as America is, go to Koreatown and any place you can find in America. Why do they have Koreatown? Because Koreans want to be around Koreans. Nothing wrong with that. Is there? Is there anything wrong? Every place you're gonna find little India, little Bombay, right? Little Saigon, right? That's natural. Because why? Because people, they have, of a different race, different ethnicity, they have things in common. Nothing wrong with that. Why is that a problem? You see? Nothing wrong with that. And then you look at some of these countries, actually just about all these countries outside of the West, they've got closed borders. They have, for the most part, one ethnicity. Although all these countries have ethnic minorities. You understand. But they don't have immigration policy letting people in. Okay? See, people don't understand in America. I can't speak for Canada or Europe. They don't understand typically in America that, because they've been brainwashed, you see, that you want to keep your borders closed. And it's not just about keeping illegals out. You want to keep the dominant population there that formed that country, whatever country it is. Okay, you can't go back and say, "Oh, well, this was history. Well, this was done." No, you weren't. You didn't live back then. You don't know this. You don't know that. You can't judge history. But you see, they want to do that because they want to make the white man seem evil. Oh well, they were colonists. They were slave owners. They were evil. How do you know? Says who? What were the norms back then? What were the value systems back then? Do you know? Maybe that was normal. Who are you to judge now? Who the fuck are you? To the extent that you're going to tear statues down? What kind of insanity? This is what I'm saying, folks. This is why I'm saying that the West is finished. Because you people let them tear statues down. You let them tearing history down. It's over. And you're going to all be fucking slaves. Your future generations are going to be fucking slaves. Either slaves or crooks. No choice. Nothing in between. Slaves or crooks. That's it. Japan has no choice. I already talked about this. Japan has no choice. They're fucked. All of Asia is fucked. They're going to have to open their borders. They have a demographic cliff. This is what people don't understand. Free trade has caused a demographic crisis in Asia. Nobody else knows this but me and you guys now. Free trade has caused the demographic crisis in Asia. That's fact. I explained this in my research a couple months ago. No one's going to say this. They're not going to tell the world this, even if they find out, even if they realize what has happened. They're not going to tell the world this. See, they don't want to wreck that dream. Free trade is going to cause probably a very dark period in most of Asia within 30 years because of the demographics, unless they open their borders. So they have a choice. Open your borders, fuck up your society, or keep your borders closed and collapse economically. You see? It's fact. So Japan first. You'll see South Korea do it next. And China, Lord knows what they're going to do. I mean, China's, they can't, it's, I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, you can have, people will go to Japan and South Korea. I think it's going to be harder to find people to go to China. So, That's it, folks. Just think about what's going on. Just think about it. Those of you who get it, you understand the reality. The reality of our world. And it's sad and disgusting because it's kind of, once you see what's going on, you can't talk to anybody because they're part of the fucking machine. They fall for all the shit. I was going to do some other videos here exposing some charlatans. And I guess I have to do it some other time. Because actually, I got to prepare to move today. So that's it.